Hey, thanks for clicking on the video. If you missed the live stream, there'll be timestamps below for all the various things we're going to talk about in this video. The lead story is that I think the Call of Duty Vanguard beta was a mistake. We're also going to be talking about the Spider-Man 2 co-op information and why I don't think co-op belongs in that game. And lastly, the Wolverine game rating. What kind of game rating should this game receive? And what do I want to see when the product finally launches? If you're in the live audience, we greatly appreciate you being here. Make sure and smash the like button. Be sure that you are set to subscribe as well as set to the bell button to all. Sometimes that gets switched around, so make sure and check that that is set to all. If it gets set to personalized, you will not get notified whenever I go live. And for those of you that watch the past broadcast, we will be adding those timestamps again and being sure to cover more than we previously covered. And what we want to do is we want to start every day with the opinion piece. So this is an SNTR update. I want to talk about why I think the Call of Duty Vanguard beta was a mistake. I did play it. I played the alpha as well as the beta, and the alpha was just Champion Hill duos, and now the beta offers team deathmatch, a variety of maps, and they added Champion Hill trios. Admittedly, I did not play Champion Hill trios, but I did try out the team deathmatch, and seeing the community response to this has me a little concerned, not necessarily about the game, but about doing a beta like this. The beta is not done, but the beta and the alpha are close to being behind us, and I want to talk about the good, the bad, and I want to end with why I think it was a mistake. Let's just start with the good. I think the guns handle very, very well, and the movement and the combat feel exactly how you would want a Call of Duty to feel. I never felt that there was a sluggishness or a lack of accuracy or good hit detection. It felt very smooth and it felt very crisp. It was what I would hope to get out of a Call of Duty. The map design certainly brings a learning curve because you're going to really struggle on some of the smaller maps. There's definitely a spawn cycle and a thing that can happen where you're getting shot in the back a lot or just getting flanked a ton, and once you sort of learn the maps and adapt, it tends to get a little bit better. So once I learned map design, I saw the strats to surviving and winning, and I actually thought the graphics, around the maps were very good. The graphics outside of the map, I think, are actually pretty good as well. The main thing for me in a game like this is gun appearance and visibility. What's the gun look like? That's one of your main immersion points in the game. And, what's visibility look like? Sometimes it's incredibly hard to see the enemy, and I didn't feel that that was a problem at all. I think they're in the right spot. I think the environments range from bright to bland, and I think that's to be expected. Some maps are going to pop a little bit more than others. Let's talk about the bad. Champion Hill was the kickoff game mode in the alpha, so this is sort of the first look that the public got, YouTubers, streamers, whatever, at Call of Duty Vanguard, and I think Champion Hill is incredibly unwelcoming and low on accessibility, which makes it an awkward first foot forward. I can see the potential of this game mode competitively or for streamers or little squads of duos and trios getting very good at the flow of that mode, but it was incredibly rough as an opening mode. When I played Team Deathmatch, there was an obvious amount of skill-based matchmaking in full swing because my first game was very rough. I went like a 0.72 KD, and then my second match I was at like a 3.2 or something because it went from, oh, sorry, you're a pretty bad player, and then it put me with a bunch of bad players. And that obviously is a little concerning because skill-based matchmaking swings can be very frustrating because undoubtedly with that 3 KD, I would have went into the next match and probably had a pretty bad time. Now, it being just another Call of Duty is not a bad thing, but that certainly is a bad thing for a beta and an alpha that you would hope would drive sales, and I actually don't think that this will. Let's end with why I think that the beta was a bad idea. Now, folks that have seen it, felt it, and witnessed it, the maps, the weapons that you got, their old-style weapons in the game modes, this is all things we've played and felt and experienced before, and the only new mode was Champion Hill, which I don't think has a whole lot of selling power. I think it's built for streamers, it's built for competitive heads, and it will likely turn off a lot of people in the Call of Duty player base. So you're mainly just buying another Call of Duty, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. The sad thing is, it's not a bad game. It certainly has a lot to offer for fans of the franchise, but it seems they may have let us see and experience way too much before even having to purchase the game. Now, some people had to pre-order to get in, but eventually it's going to open up to everybody. And my concern is they're not going to have an experience that drives them to say, I got to play this. I got to jump in to Call of Duty Vanguard. I think the old-style weapons in the World War setting automatically turns a lot of folks off, but I also think the game flow, the gameplay, and in the new modes, I really don't think they hit the right tone, and that might cause this one to not be as successful as some of its predecessors. Let me know what you think below. Do you disagree? You can always catch me live over on SNTR Gaming, and if you're watching this on SNTR Updates, hit subscribe and the bell button, and I'll see you in the next one. And for those of you that are in the live audience, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. That's my opening opinion piece. That's what I think. I played it, and I don't think this was a great idea. I don't think putting this out in view of the public is going to garner what they were hoping for. Oh, I've not updated the 80s tease command. I'm a little out of sorts this morning. I had to grab that trailer. I wasn't ready for that scene. I had to do it while I was talking. I haven't updated the shirt command. This is a Venom Carnage shirt, a Venom Carnage shirt. So I'll send you over to the Marvel collection today if you use the shirt command. Guys, be sure to smash the like button. Get us our first 100 likes. And strong start today. There were a lot of you waiting, and we appreciated so much you guys giving us the opportunity to stream every day, and the coffee orders and everything else. We greatly appreciate that. Yo, what's good, old soul? Get your questions submitted, your comments submitted. We've been discussing and brainstorming how to get more people to use the question command, and I want to do a poll here. Call of Duty Vanguard beta thoughts. I'm gonna put good, meh, or good, average, and bad. Good, average, and bad thoughts. Even just from watching, even if you've just been watching, right? Call of Duty Vanguard beta, good, average, bad. You don't have to have played it to have formulated an opinion about it. You may have an armchair sort of sideline opinion from it, I'm with you on this. It was a mistake to make Call of Duty in the first place. You think the franchise, or you think this Call of Duty? What do you mean by that? You don't think they should even be making it anymore? Dying Light 2 has been delayed. Gonna need to speak to my boss about February's pay. Gonna need more money for all the games. I saw that, and the interesting thing about that delay isn't that it's happening. I said anything in December, anything with the launch date in December, that's a very precarious launch date, okay? You can't have a lot of confidence in that launch date, all right? For me, I was like, why would you set your sights on February? I don't understand, right? February has to be one of the most, February is like the new December. It's like, I don't understand. You don't want to land in February, right? I'm sorry. Good morning, Discord audio, folks. I'm sorry about that. I keep forgetting that in my morning ritual. The hotkey to undeafen only works if I'm actively inside Discord. So if I click it, it doesn't work. It worked on my other rig. I don't know why it doesn't work on this rig. I think it's too much like World War II, and I hated that. All of them, I hate Call of Duty, don't listen to me. Oh, well, yeah, I mean, if you don't like Call of Duty, then obviously your opinion is meaningful, but it doesn't really land on a discussion about a beta and an alpha, and is it going to motivate purchases, right? Better off going to May. All about financials year end. That's really unfortunate if everybody's being forced into that, right? They're being forced into a February launch date because of fiscal years. You know what I mean? The problem with your opinion is Warzone. The new guns will be the strongest in the game. The only way to level them is to own Vanguard. That drove Black Ops sales, and it will here too. Now, that's new information for me. I was not aware that was something that they did, Justin. So your theory, and it sounds like a good theory, your theory is they're going to drive Vanguard sales with Warzone. Like, if you want to level something, you need to own Vanguard. You're saying they did that with Black Ops. I love Call of Duty, but I don't like the ones with the old weapons. It's so interesting, Cataclysmic, because I can stand here and tell you, I can sit here and tell you that the weapons feel amazing, and yet I don't like them. I don't like using an MP40. I don't like using a Thompson, or they feel good, but there's something about the visual. It's like, I don't like that. I don't. Why? Why is that there? Why does it have to look like that? Why does that, why does the ADS, why does the scope, why does the sight have to look like that? Creature says they changed that this year. That will not be the case. If you want anti-cheat, you have to buy Vanguard. Wait, I don't understand. If you want anti-cheat. Oh, wait. So is there not going to be any anti-cheat in, was there not going to be any anti-cheat in Warzone? They're not going to put it in there? They're like, yeah, it's a cheater's paradise. If you want anti-cheat, you got to head over there to Vanguard. You got to buy that one. If you guys want to have your comment or your question showcased, you can use the question command. Type question, followed by your thought or your comment or your question. If you're new, you need to be subscribed to do that, to talk in the chat. I'm not sure ever how to say this one. Can you show the full design? You always ask this. You always want a full model of the shirt. This one I understand, okay? A couple of days ago, I thought you were just being kind of weird. This one, I get it. I'll give you a full look at the shirt. All right, ready? There you go. That's a full model of the shirt. I'm not going to spin for you. You got to pay extra for that. There you go. That's the shirt. If you want to use the shirt command, the 80s Tees code usages were way down the last couple of months. So, guys, make sure if you're going over there and buying shirts, you're using code Lono. If you haven't ordered any coffee yet, be sure to do that. We like to see a couple of coffee orders every single day. My wife tells me I need to sell 3 orders a day. So be sure to use the coffee command or go to ragelessroast.com. Nice shirt. Thank you, ADJC. Good morning, Amori. Good morning, Feed. I see you in the chat. Anti-cheat is coming regardless, and it's going to be the same as in the past. You'll level guns in Vanguard to use them in Warzone. How much extra? I just got paid. How much extra? Oh, it's $100 a spin. I'm not getting up out of my seat and moving around unless for less than $100. No. Will you spin now? No. Sorry, ADJC. What we should have done is, I'm thinking of a number between 1 and 100, and I would make you guys guess with tips. Now that's a get-rich-quick scheme, because you guys would never get it, I would make it like $33.17 or something, and you'd never, ever guess it. I'm like, this is great. Got a new job, so I'm a working lurker. Oh, well, thanks for being here, Gabby. I appreciate it. I didn't like Black Ops 3 because of the wall running, but I adapted to it because of the weapons were dope. Weapons can be a make or break, right? The weapons in a game are a make or break situation, because you can play a game that looks wonderful, and if the guns are not enjoyable, you kind of don't care. You're like, well, I don't care that this game is long and there's lots to do, and I don't care about any of that. The guns are kind of not that great, and there is something about World War II weapons. There's something about the older weapons that I think causes that, and I don't necessarily know a way to fix it. You can definitely tell they're doing everything they can to make the guns feel more modern. Every time I put a sight on the weapon, I'm like, okay, this doesn't seem like it's historically accurate, like, at all. I don't think they had these back then, This is a little too nice, I don't think they were running around, on the beaches of Normandy with oh, come on, Dad Not Good says, will you spin now? You gotta be kidding me. You actually did it. See, I didn't set it high enough. I should have set it so incredibly high that it would take away the shame of what I'm about to do and what I'm about to feel. Like, I didn't set it high enough. I should have said like $500 or something. All right, here you go. You don't get a spin. You don't get a spin unless you pay. That's the point. He has to see the shirt. So here you go. Here you go. There's nothing on the back. You see? You just paid for nothing. You paid for nothing. There's nothing on the back of the shirt. You know, we should put a surprise post-it note back there every day. Like, what's a surprise message today? You know, and you only get to see it if I spin around. Become one of those goofy, like, gimmick streamers. You know, there's a hidden message in the sound foam, and if you spot it, be sure to watch till minute 17, and you'll be able to see it, and then you'll be. Why was the beta a mistake? I think the beta was a mistake because they're not winning over the public with it, right? I think this is what happens in there's a cycle in games like this, and the beta just started the cycle, okay? And this is what the cycle looks like. Announcement, trailer, gameplay. That's always the beginning of the cycle. Announcement, trailer, gameplay, okay? And in that ramp up, excitement from the audience is usually step in step. They usually get excited, they usually get pretty hyped, and they're wanting to play the game, all right? And then the game gets close to launch, so they do some more reveals, and this tends to drive the excitement and the hype up, okay? All right? I'm hitting dislike for that spin, no jazz to it or anything. Okay, so that typically goes step in step. And then the game launches. And then usually disappointment, reality, all that settles in on the audience. And they're like, this isn't quite as good as I thought it was going to be, right? Yeah, I can tell we're getting blips. I'm looking at the viewership and I can tell, which stinks because we had a really strong start. It's not on my end. I can tell a bunch of you are having to refresh, which is terrible if new people come in. They're going to think this guy doesn't know what he's doing. It's not my fault. It's something that YouTube is doing. They've got to be making updates because we haven't had any issues, and then they buy a bunch of big streamers, and they're possibly doing things in the back end that's causing issues. Close to release will be Warzone updates, I think, to bring the hype as much as possible. Now, you're not wrong about that. I mean, they did that in-game thing in Warzone with the train, and it was kind of cheesy, it was kind of throwaway, but at the same time, they used Warzone as a marketing funnel. On a serious note, thanks for everything you do. You kept me sane over the last few years. Oh, I appreciate that. It's because of the spin. Yeah, we're getting in trouble because I spun on stream. They don't like that. They don't like that kind of content on this platform. If you want to do that, you got to take that over there to the other side. So my concern is when you consider that cycle of announcement, trailer, gameplay, like you're building, the crescendo usually hits right before release, and then release happens, and then there's like a crash of disappointment afterward. Now, that crash of disappointment doesn't even necessarily mean that the games were bad. I think that's just what happens. That's just how people respond. That's what it is. That's how people respond. It's how people look at the game and look at the experience, right? So when you launch a beta and you make it open, okay? Now they did do like early access for PlayStation, and then they did like, oh hey, if you pre-order you get access as well, okay? That's all great, right? That's all great. That at least makes it to where at least some of the people playing have had to purchase. But once you open it up to everybody, I think a lot of them are going to have similar conclusions. There's pro-level players that are like, I don't like it. There's big-time streamers that are like, I'm not going to play it. It just isn't hooking people. And I think the problem is, it's just another Call of Duty. Now, I'm not against that. If you're going to make a sequel, if you're going to continue your franchise, that's part of it. Part of it is delivering a consistent product. Part of it is saying, this is what people have come to expect. That's what we're going to deliver, okay? The challenge is, you just let everybody know it's basically just another Call of Duty, and they don't have to spend any money. They could watch a streamer, they could watch a YouTuber, they could play it once it's totally open to the public, right? And when that happens, then you're going to have people saying, yeah, I don't want to buy that. I've seen and heard, right? Seen and heard. I've experienced it. I don't care now. Yo, what's good, Atwood? The success of Vanguard will depend on how good Battlefield is. That I don't agree with. I don't think its success is anywhere near tied to Battlefield. I don't think they're in the same hemisphere anymore. I don't. The early beta requires pre-order, at least in Japan. Yes, but it's going to open up to everybody very, very soon. I think the table's already set. I think the open beta is going to land. The general public's going to play it, and they're going to say, "Yeah, it's fine. Like I don't see a reason to buy it." You know. Now you have to consider something with Call of Duty and what they're doing. They're potentially cannibalizing their own franchise with this. Every game is still running. Every game is getting updated. And here's what I mean. It could pay off big, but it also could tend to hobble any new launches. Now, people are already saying, oh, they're going to make you go play Vanguard to level up weapons. Well, okay. That's a possibility. That's a thing they might do to resolve this. However, if people are content to continue playing Warzone gets updates, Warzone has new seasons, they like Warzone, gets a new map, whatever. If that gives them plenty of reason to not even care about Vanguard, especially if they play it for free and they're like, I didn't really like it that much. I didn't like the old weapon. You come from Warzone, you start picking up a Thompson or an MP40, you're gonna be like, I don't really like these weapons. They don't feel as good. They don't look or sound as good, right? And so I happen to think that theory is probably pretty on point. They're going to try to drive people into Vanguard through Warzone. They're going to continue to use that funnel. Because if not, the titles will cannibalize each other. Who's going to go play Vanguard if they can happily continue to play Warzone and the updates and everything else? Now, you're going to have the people that are diehard World War II Call of Duty fans that are like, I don't like Warzone. I don't like all that modern stuff. I'm going to make sure and check out Vanguard. I will always say I have no interest in Call of Duty games set in World War. You can't take advantage of today's technology, and weapon builds are boring. Right. I think people are going to play Vanguard, finish the campaign, then move to Battlefield due to more features. The only reason I see people staying in Call of Duty is Warzone. That's a possibility that Battlefield's portal and Battlefield's, newness, they've not done one in a long time, right? Sorry if I missed this. Is the Vanguard Battle Royal or just the latest campaign in regular PvP? It's going to be a campaign with PvP. They've added a new mode. Their way of setting this one apart is the Champion Hill mode. And Champion Hill is like the combination between like a small stripped down game mode with economy, like buying weapons and weapon upgrades. And then it's almost like a mini tournament. So as you play in advance, you're trying to knock out other small teams. So they've got duos and trios. Like you and a buddy go in and you're trying to stay alive and kill the other team because your lives are basically your precious to you. If you're going to go the distance and get really far in Champion Hill, you've got to eliminate the other team extremely quickly and not give up any of your lives. Because by the time you get to the end, you're going to be facing some team that crushed it, and they've got 7 lives, and you've got 2. That's going to be a ridiculously hard match. Now, see, that's where the competitive, that's where the streamer, that's where that environment's going to come in. Because in a competitive realm, in a streaming environment, people like that. They like watching a battle royale. They like seeing the risk. They like seeing the big moment of, oh my goodness, this duo has 1 life left, and they're facing against a team with 6. This is going to be almost insurmountable. They're going to have to kill them so many times before it's over, and if they die once, it's it. That's the end of it, right? Those tense moments, those everything's on the line, like battle royales tend to bring that, right? As soon as you tune into a battle royale, you immediately know how many people are left on the map, how many kills do they have? Where are they on the map? How much time's left on the zone? Like the UI immediately orients the viewer to what's going on. I think that's one of the reasons battle royales became so popular as a streaming thing. If you tune into somebody playing like a team deathmatch like Call of Duty, you don't know what's going on. You're like, I don't know. I can see the score. I can see how much time is left, but that's about it. Like, I don't know, like, how well is this player doing? What's their KD? How well is the other team doing? I don't know, where's the map flow been? Where are the hot spots been? Is there a camper? Is there this? You don't know any of that. Why? You're like, well, I know the score and how much time is left. Like, a battle royale immediately sets the stage. This guy's got 6 kills, there's 7 people left, and the zone is closing, and he's hoofing it, right? That sets the stage. That makes it to where you know you're like, there's a lot on the line right now. Dude's having a good game, and he's heading towards final zone. Champion Hill could bring that. Like, as soon as you tune into it, you're like, oh, okay. They don't have a whole lot of lives left, and they're getting kills. What's Champion Hill? I just spent the last 2 minutes explaining it to you. Did you just get here? I thought you were here earlier, Fat Seal. I'll explain it again. It is a stripped-down game mode. You can play it as a duo or a trio. There is economy. It's round-based, right? You go round to round to round because there's like a time limit, and you get money to upgrade your guns, to buy like a radar, to like buy all kind of stuff, right? And you have so many lives. So it's like a mini tournament. It's like a miniature tournament. So if you kill the other team, or not, maybe you don't kill them. Maybe you kill the other team 4 times and they kill you 2 times. And then the round is over, right? Well, they lost 4 of their lives and you lost 2. And then you go to the next round. And then it randomly puts you against another duo or trio in the server. And so then you're randomly against another team. Same thing, round-based combat against them. You play a couple rounds against them and you have like econ. You know, you can level up your guns, you can buy stuff, right? So it's like an elimination-style tournament where there is economy, and then they're randomly pitting you against another team. So if luck has it, there can be a team that just keeps getting randomly pitted against, like, really, really bad teams, right? Yeah, these are disc plates. And then they get to the end with 6 or 7 lives. And maybe you fought blood, sweat, and tears, you know? You fought blood, sweat, and tears, and you got 2 lives left. Well, now, if you want to win, you got to beat that team that had easy streak the whole time, right? They got 7 lives left. Maybe they didn't have easy streak. Maybe they're killers, you know, and they got 7 lives left because they're crushing it. Okay. Well, you go to that last fight, same thing, round-based, economy. Usually by then, all the environments are destroyed because there's destructible environments. Everything's blown to bits. Everybody has amazing kits because they've been buying the best weapons they can and then upgrading. Like, you hit a button to literally upgrade your weapon, right? Battlefield has way more people interested this time around. The reveal trailers for both games have 19 million views, but the gameplay trailers are 10 million for Battlefield and 600,000 for Vanguard. What I'm saying is, and see, that's my point. That's why I think the beta was a mistake. You left no mystery. Now people know. I know what it looks like. Even people that are maybe on the fence are like, I really don't like World War II era COD. I really like modern Call of Duty. Well, that you've removed all mystery for them. They've seen it. They're like, it looks okay. The guns, I don't know. You know, the MP40 seems like it's got too much kick or, you know, whatever. I actually thought the guns were extremely, you know, they were extremely good. They handled very well, but I didn't like them. I didn't like them. They handled fine. They were effective. I had a couple of good games. I had a couple of bad games, right? They do this for every Call of Duty, and every time it turns out just fine. How long have they been doing open betas, Sven? When did they start doing that? Did they do that for Black Ops Cold War? Did they do that for Warzone? Did they just say, yeah, here, come and play it, $0? I mean, Warzone's free, so it's a bit of a different scenario. Good morning, Night Train. It's a bit of a different scenario playing Warzone, because, I mean, that was free anyway. But did they do an open beta for Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War? Since Black Ops 3. Really? For whatever reason, the response to this one hasn't been very good. The response hasn't been very good. I don't know what it is. Is it the lack of innovation? Is it the game mode? Is Champion Hill turning folks off? Like, did they make something for streamers and streamers are kind of like, I don't really dig it. you know? I don't know. It's interesting to me that this one's getting the response that it's getting if they've done this every single time. I mean, is this the pattern of like, it's not very good, it's disappointing, and then when it comes out, they're like, well, I mean, of course I'm going to buy it, right? Of course I'm going to buy it. In what way not very good? I don't think it's winning anybody over. You have to understand, a lot of people jumping into this are coming fresh out of Warzone, right? They're coming fresh out of Warzone. I think that might be the different factor this time around, is that Warzone is sitting there as a fully functional Call of Duty, great weapons, really good innovation on modes, and, you know, you got all kind of great, you know, modern weaponry, okay? Nick said he's not interested in it, really? Yeah, like, why is Nick Merck saying he's not interested in it? Why are there guys like Scump saying they're going to take a year off? Like, I don't know. There's going to be a Vanguard Warzone map, too? Are they going to update or add to Warzone? Yeah. They're going to continue updating and giving Warzone love. That's the point, is it's like, if Warzone's in the room, I think that's part of what we're dealing with here. I think that's part of why people are saying, I don't know. I don't like it. Isn't the same engine? It's the same engine as Warzone. Yeah, they use the same engine as Warzone. There's a big World War fatigue. I think Warzone and Call of Duty multiplayer are the two different players now. And maybe that's what's going on, right? Maybe that's what's going on. Maybe Warzone players are playing it and saying, I think I'll pass. And there's so many of them that their voices are sort of driving the conversation. Because there's so many Warzone players, it is possible that they're like, I don't like it. And there's this super loyal crowd that's like, no, this is great. This is another World War Call of Duty. It feels good. I like it. You know, I miss the MP40 or whatever. Everyone who pays for Call of Duty annually will buy Vanguard, no doubt. Right. Will probably be a second Warzone. I bet a different one. Didn't they just do a bunch to it? Like, new season, update the map, and all of that? If you guys are just tuning in, take the poll at the top of chat. We want to hear from you. Even if you've just watched the beta, what do you think? Good, average, or bad? Average is running away with it. Nick Merckx is done with regular Call of Duty, he said. He enjoys the fast pace of battle royales. Right. Okay. Yeah, I mean, if you want something that's fast paced and you want a lot of violence and speed and momentum, then Champion Hill doesn't really bring that. Champion Hill, you want to know why Champion Hill is so odd to me and why I think a lot of people may end up not liking it? It's like driving in a really, really fast Ferrari in a neighborhood with tons of stop signs. That's what it feels like. It's like, oh, this car is awesome. Gotta stop. Okay. Boop, 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 boop. All right, here we go. And you're like, oh, gotta stop. That's what Champion Hill feels like. It's like driving a really nice Ferrari in a neighborhood with a bunch of stop signs. It's like fast, crazy, that was intense. Oh my gosh, the map's so small. And then you're standing around in an elevator. Okay. Right. Econ. Spend some money. All right, back to it. I wonder if that rhythm is just going to wear people out. You know? I wonder if that rhythm is just going to wear people out. They're going to be like, I don't like it. You know, it's fun. We won, but I just don't like it. The rhythm is odd. There's an odd cadence to this game, to this mode. This is supposed to be one of the big draws to Vanguard, is the new mode, Champion Hill. Like, that's supposed to be one of the big draws. Were these people grinding Modern Warfare or Cold War beyond weapon loadouts? I somehow doubt it. It's like saying you're not playing something you wouldn't be playing anyways. Big streamers will not play arena shooters to the degree that they would BRs. That's why I see Halo having a big drop-off unless they have a BR in the back pocket. I think the difference in Halo is... Now, I actually think some of your observation is right on the money. I think BRs create a better rhythm and space for moments than an arena. Like, that's what they want, right? They want some space. They want to be able to breathe and yuck it up with their friends, but they wanted the opportunity to create a moment. That's why BRs, that's why Fortnite was so successful. You got the fun, goofy banter. They're able to breathe. They're able to talk, and then they can make a moment happen, and everyone goes nuts. They're like, oh my gosh, what a win, or oh my gosh, you suck. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. If BR streamers can get into that headspace of like a win or a loss is equal in entertainment value as long as you sell it, okay? And the lack of that in an arena is a meat grinder. It's just like run back out and fight, run back out and fight, try to get a really good kill, try to get a really good kill. Can't really banter with your buddies, right? Because you're just constantly in the thick of it, calling out, fight, 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 fight. The only thing that I think could end up being different for Halo is there is the nostalgia factor, and there's really big streamers that love Halo, and they could get in and make something out of it, whether it's maybe capture the flag, right? That could be a time where you can make moments happen. Big enough for little moments of breathing, little moments of banter, and then CTF is more of a tug of war, visible tug of war, big intense moments, you know, just generic team deathmatch, SWAT, or maybe big team battle. But outside of that, no, I kind of agree with you. I think Halo's going to struggle for that reason in the streaming world. I think it'll be fine as far as player base numbers go and like committed player base. If they nail it, then they'll be fine, right? But from a viewing perspective, I actually think he's right. I think arenas lack that draw, okay? The only way I think that you're going to be able to make arena shooters, because I do think arena shooters are having a comeback, but they're only going to have a comeback from a spectacle standpoint, from a streaming standpoint, is if you're doing regular competitions and tournaments. That's the only way. The day-to-day watching my favorite streamer grind out team deathmatch or something, I don't think so. They'll jump in when a new season starts. They'll check out the battle pass. They'll check out the updates, whether they've updated maps, added modes. They'll check all that out. But a week's going to go by, and they're going to be like, dude, I'm not going to sit here and grind out SWAT. I don't want to do that, right? I'd rather play a battle royale. And that could be what's hurting Vanguard. Vanguard is, even in their new offering, Champion Hill, it is very much just arena shooter. You're on a small, tight map. You play the outside. You try to get as many kills as you can. You try to control the other team, right? Pivoting spawns. Do you split up? Do you not split up? Like, all the strategies that will emerge. Like, well, if we split up, you can be over there and ready to go whenever they respawn, right? I think the average player is going to feel the same way. About what? What do you mean? Halo releasing multiplayer story is a huge flop, in my opinion. There's no way to know until they do it. I find arenas way more enjoyable. The best player wins. Well, I'm not going to throw up a poll, chat, but just snapshot. If you're here, what do you prefer, BR or arena? I'm curious, right? Just playing TDM. I don't think you even pin that on the Vanguard World War II theme. I think BRs are still king over any arena shooter presented in today's gaming climate. Yo, it's good, Gritter. BRs are better for streamers, but a lot of people I talk to are tired of BRs. That's why games like Splitgate and Halo are having a comeback. Yeah, look, I mean, Arena is dominating in the chat right now, and I know this is a quick snapshot and not a huge portion of the gaming community, but Arena is winning. Like, streamers and players, I think, are a little bit different in regards to, like, what can we do with an Arena? What can we do with a BR? I don't think the average player is just going to grind out team deathmatch. Oh, I see what you're saying, Eugene. It depends, because if there's purpose behind it, if there's challenges, if there's a battle pass, if there's a season, if there's a sense of progression, then I think you could get it through. You could maybe get people to grind that out. Not a lot of people are using the question command anymore. If you guys want to use that question command to have your question featured right here, Victor Mayhem says, do you think alphas and betas should be done earlier in the development process? It seems showing off too much of the game may be an issue. I mean, it's a double-edged sword, right? Right? It's a double-edged sword. If you've got people that see the game super early in its development cycle, they may make judgments about the game that aren't even fair. It's like, it's so rough around the edges. It's a technical test. It's a pre-alpha, whatever you want to call it. That could end up hurting your game significantly. You know, all you need is a couple of people to say, yeah, I played it. Yeah, I played, unless you NDA the frick out of them. Even then, the stuff's going to end up getting leaked or talked about. You know, some guy's going to send an anonymous email or video to somebody, and then it's going to be all over the internet, and everyone's going to be like, yeah, that game looks like crap. Well, of course it does. It's in its roughest state, you know. So, but then like you're saying, if you do it really, really close to the game's launch, you get to see the game. Like, there's no doubt. You're like, well, I don't want it now. Or, you know, you got to be really confident in your product if you're going to be rolling out an open beta. The only thing I could think is going on here is Call of Duty's like, listen, we are so commercially successful, we're only doing this to stress test. Like, we don't give a crap. Like, we know everybody's going to buy it. We know a small percentage of people will be dissuaded from this beta, but most people, our sales projections are solid, right? If the game is locked in and awesome, then the beta's your friend. Right. A single new mode isn't drawing people to the new Call of Duty in droves like that, especially since everyone's seen it, and it's already got bad impressions. I know, people were telling me I was too quick to judge, and I was like, if this is your first foot forward with Call of Duty Vanguard, this is an awkward first foot forward. You know what I mean? How's Splitgate doing now? I don't know if there's a way to check the player base numbers. I have a feeling that Splitgate on console is probably healthier than PC, because the console crowd are the ones that drove the servers offline. So, I don't know. The last time I played it, matchmaking was quick, and I still had like maybe a 30-second queue when I booted up the game. 10,000 on Steam at the moment. If that's not bad on Steam, 10,000 concurrent right now on Steam, that's not terrible. You know, if you have that if you equal that on each console, around 10K, you know, that means, you know, 30,000 some odd people playing at a given time. I mean, that's not terrible, you know. Lono was right. The alpha was rough. Yeah, I thought the alpha was incredibly rough. I thought, man, I can't believe you're putting this out front and center. You know, I jumped in and I literally played an entire game and I was like, I don't even know what's going on. You know, they do this really brief explanation at the beginning about losing your lives, protecting your lives. You know, the guy's like yelling at you. You protect your lives, that's the game. And you're like, okay, got it, I think. And then the econ of like upgrading your game, upgrading your gun, upgrading your gear. It's dropped about 1/3 of its Steam base in the last month. 1/3 of its Steam base. That to me is less surprising. I'm more interested in the console numbers, because I think the Steam numbers like spiked way up because a bunch of people wanted to play an arena shooter. They heard it was doing well. They heard, oh, it's better now. They got a taste of Halo Infinite, and so they go running back to Splitgate. Well, I mean, if that was the only reason they were running back, I wouldn't expect them to stay for very long, right? I play Splitgate every day, and I have no problems. From what I've heard, the beta is better than the alpha, but I'm still not confident. Well, I played the beta, Takashi, and I played 2 games of Team Deathmatch. And I walked away from it saying to myself, well, I don't know. I didn't experience anything that would make me buy it or go back to it. Now, we bought it. We're going to play it at launch. I'll play the campaign more than likely, right? I'm not really interested in the multiplayer. I'll play multiplayer if there's a reason to. Yeah, we'll be playing Deathloop this afternoon, yes. I'll play multiplayer if there's a reason to, but like, I don't know. For me, Call of Duty, we've talked about this before. I've talked about how like launching a shooter right now has to be incredibly difficult, because how do you innovate on a shooter? How do you do it? You know, the best thing you can do is make an amazing shooter that's got, really good mechanics and a feel and a really good story, outside of that, if you try to innovate, you may end up just irritating people. They're like, I just didn't feel good. They tried to do all this newfangled stuff where like I'm grappling or I'm double jumping or running on walls. Well, so many games do grapple hook, double jumping and running on walls. So you better nail it or people are going to be like, yeah, it was clunky. It didn't feel very good, right? If you don't innovate on movement, you're going to have to innovate on the weapons. And when you innovate on the weapons, then you also run the risk in upsetting people's expectations because they're going to be like, well, I really wanted the guns to handle better or be more modern or be smoother or, whatever, right? 2 Microsoft titles are leading in Game of the Year talks. What Microsoft titles from this year are leading in Game of the Year talks? Enough said. I trust Lono's opinions. If anything, I'm interested in the zombie mode because Cold War is quite fun. Like, Takashi, if it was free, I could see throwing away a weekend or an afternoon with some buddies in Call of Duty Vanguard. I can't see buying it for $70. Like, if I was a normal consumer and I saw that footage and I saw people playing, I cannot imagine running and dropping $70 on it, right? Psychonauts and Deathloop. Deathloop's a Microsoft game? What? Since when is Deathloop a Microsoft game? Who developed it? Arcane? Is Arcane a Microsoft studio? I don't think Psychonauts has a chance for Game of the Year. I don't think Deathloop has a chance either. Technically, yes, Bethesda. Well, you're kind of cheating, Mo. Deathloop is not a Microsoft game. It was in development and contractually obligated to every platform before the acquisition. So, Deathloop is not a Microsoft game, homie. Deathloop is not on Xbox. Yeah, when's it even... Isn't it a timed exclusive for Sony? It's not even hitting Xbox. Like, it's a Microsoft Studio game that can't even hit the Xbox for how many months because of the exclusivity deal. Arcane is Microsoft's timed exclusive. Right, it's a timed exclusive. So what is a Microsoft title? I mean, it would have released before the acquisition if it wasn't for the sickie. Right, if it wasn't for the sickie, they were not set to launch after the acquisition. So no one would consider that a Microsoft title if it launched a year ago. Microsoft being nice? It's not called being nice. It's called honoring contractual obligations. That's not being nice. That's called being a professional. Well, we're going to be nice and let you honor your contracts. That's not being nice. There's legality involved there. They're not doing them any favors. Oh, well, we'll let you honor your contract. Frick, you're not letting us honor our contracts. We're legally obligated to honor our contracts. What are you talking about? I have a question. How long you think the talks were going? Not long enough to disrupt the Deathloop contract, that's for sure. The contract ink was dry on Deathloop. Deathloop's a time exclusive for Sony. It was supposed to launch sometime last year, right? All those gears are in motion. The Deathloop contract was likely in talks during production of the game, I would imagine, right? They could have paid that out. Not necessarily, no. No, they couldn't have, because the other side would have to agree. And there probably wasn't even a conversation about that. I don't think Microsoft's being nice. I think that was a part of the deal. Was, look, if you're going to acquire us, you've got to let us honor our existing contracts. That's not going to work. That's not going to work. We're not going to be able to start blasting our contracts into smithereens and shoving all of our games onto your system. That's not going to work. People are going to be irritated. There's already trailers. There's already shaking hands. There's already gameplay in circulation. We can't do that. That's not going to work. Listen, if Psychonauts 2 wins Game of the Year, I'll eat a steak on stream with ketchup. I will do it. I will go and buy a ribeye. I will reverse sear it. I will eat it on stream with ketchup just slathered on it. If Psychonauts 2 wins Game of the Year, I will freaking do that. You clip it. There's no way that game wins Game of the Year. There's no freaking way. It doesn't stand a chance. It's not even on the same level. as some of the games that'll be nominated for Game of the Year. There's no way. No, that's my commitment to you, is I will freaking do that. And stakes are super expensive right now. It'll be a complete waste of money. It'll be awful. It'll be terrible. It'll equally be terrible if Psychonauts 2 wins Game of the Year. Check out this little thing we can do if I have to take a break. Ready? If you guys are enjoying the show, hit the subscribe button, the bell button, smash that like button, and stick around because we're talking Spider-Man 2 co-op info and the Wolverine game rating. Yeah? Yeah? Did you guys like that? Did you guys like that? If I have to, like, step away, man. Okay, boss man, I'll hold you to it. Hold me to it, because it's not going to win. That is how confident I am. There is literally no way. I played both. I played Psychonauts 2. I played the Ratchet and Clank to completion. Oh, I need to hide this media source so when I do that, there we go. I couldn't see my microphone when I did that. It's not going to be nominated. It might get nominated only because the landscape is so thin. There's so few games. There are so few big AAA games that came out. You know? If it even gets a nomination, it'll only be because the landscape is so thin. Not even in the conversation or worthy of a nomination. Yeah, I can tell you that I'll do that with a stake, knowing that I'll never have to do it. I know I will not. Let's take another question or comment. I think Call of Duty cornered itself by having Call of Duty Vanguard. It uses the same engine as Modern Warfare. It also uses the same engine as Call of Duty Warzone. Use something else, they'd end up with Cold War situation. Nah, not that great. Well, but I don't think they cornered themselves. I think they made the right call. I felt like the Call of Duty Vanguard beta, the gameplay felt great. It did. You have to understand what I'm saying. It felt great. It felt as good as a Call of Duty can. And I was kind of like, okay, cool. Threw it over my shoulder. You know what I mean? Just threw it over my shoulder. Maybe Returnal gets Game of the Year. I think Returnal will get a nomination, but I don't think it'll win. Returnal will get nominated for Game of the Year. It was original, new IP, mega creative, super well done. Audio design, the gameplay, the haptic, the new experimental haptic feedback. I think Returnal will be nominated. It'll win for certain things. It might win for sound design. I agree it's not worth a nomination, but all the media I saw when it launched seems to think it's a masterpiece. Do you want to know what I think's happening right now? Let me tell you what I think's happening right now. I'm gonna give you my theory on what is happening in gaming. I'm gonna tell you right now why Deathloop's getting 10s from everyone. Do you know what it is? Tepid tap water would be like the best thing ever if you were walking through a desert. You understand? Do you understand what I'm saying? Tepid tap water would be refreshing if you're in a desert. And we're in a desert right now. There's nothing launching. And people play a good game, okay? I'm telling you right now, these are good games. Deathloop, good game. Psychonauts 2, good game. They're good. But I think that's all you need right now. And people are like, oh my gosh, this is unbelievable. It's just incredible. No, it's not. It's fine. It's good. I guarantee you, Deathloop will be good. It'll be like, no, this is fine. This is a good game. We're going to play it this afternoon. Like, there's no way I'm walking away from Deathloop being like, 10 out of 10 game, guys. It's a masterpiece. There is literally no way. I know what the game offers. I know what the game's doing. There is no way I'm walking away from that game saying 10 out of 10. I don't know. The mixed reviews are about micro stutters. Yeah, apparently the PC performance is having issues, so PC reviews are all over the place, but like, we'll be playing it on the PlayStation 5. So, I did, Eugene. I did. I saw that small list of perfect scores. Like, if IGN and IGN and GameSpot, if they both give something a perfect score, like, it's incredibly rare, right? So, I'm sure it's a good game. You understand? You understand what I'm saying, right? Like, I'm sure it's a good game. Psychonauts 2 was a good game. Returnal, Ratchet and Clank, these games, they strike a chord of excellence that these other games I've not played Deathloop yet, so I'm not going to include that yet. These other, like, Psychonauts 2 didn't strike a chord of excellence. It didn't. It was good. There's nothing wrong with being a good game. There's absolutely nothing wrong with being a good game. But there is a difference. It's like when people compare Dave Chappelle and Kevin Hart. It's like, what are you doing? Kevin Hart, good, hilarious, funny. I love him to death. I want to hang out with him. But Dave Chappelle has a thread of excellence woven through his comedy and his genius. Like, you can't compare the two. They're not in the same league. They're not. You know? It's like comparing some new rookie punk in NBA, comparing him to Michael Jordan. What are you doing? No. There's a thread of excellence there. There is something intangible that you can't even quite put your finger on. You're like, this is excellent. Deathloop was like a 7 out of 10 at best for me personally. Can't wait to see you play Deathloop. I'm very excited to play it this afternoon. If you're in the audience right now, we do a talk show in the morning like this and gameplay in the afternoon. Make sure and hit subscribe, smash the like button, all those things. You guys, we want to see the question command used more, and there is no longer a requirement to be a paying member to use that. So you can have your comment or your question featured right down here on the subject. I want to hear from you. Do you think the Call of Duty Vanguard beta was a mistake? Do you think the Call of Duty Vanguard Alpha or Call of Duty Vanguard Champion Hill mode were these mistakes? Were these things that weren't quite in the right lane to capture people, right? We got one here from Chest Pain. Is Vanguard falling into the same boat as Resident Evil? It's just another game in their long-standing franchise. I saw an article on The Gamer, and it sounded like they watched my stream because it was about Aliens Fireteam. I swear they watched my stream. And they titled the article, it was like, In Defense of Decent Games, right? In defense of decent games. And I said this when I was playing Aliens Fireteam. I said, it's good. And I said, we as gamers need to become okay with good. Good isn't bad. You ever work for a guy like that? If you're not 15 minutes early, you're late. Shut the frick up. Are you paying me for those 15 minutes that I'm early? No? Then shut up. I'm not late, you old crotchety, curmudgeon, corporate snake. Just shut your mouth. You're paying me to be here at 8. I will be here at 8. If I'm late, then we can have a conversation. If I'm not, then shut your mouth. You can't write me up for not being early, okay? We're becoming that old crotchety guy about games, right? If it isn't excellent, it's not worth playing. It's like, what? What's the matter with good? What's the matter with on time? Like, why is that becoming the standard? And I said we need to become okay with good games, right? We need to become okay with good games. It's totally fine to launch a good game. And there are plenty of games that do that. They're good. Now, I think the latest Resident Evil was a little bit better than good. It hit certain notes visually, thematically, storytelling-wise. I think it was a little bit better than just good. I think the gameplay loop was good. It was fine, right? It was fine. It was a very more classic style Resident Evil. It wasn't like 7. Everybody loved 7. It was a terrifying, it was a tour de force of fear, okay? And then the newest one wasn't like that, and a lot of people didn't like that, okay? So I think that ratchets it down to, it's good. It continued the franchise. It continued the story. It's a good game. But that has become like the new focal point of, well, it didn't blow me away. It wasn't excellent. It wasn't mind-blowing. Well, no, we need to be okay with good. And I didn't even read the article. I knew that's what they were going to say in the article because they had Aliens Fireteam, and they were basically saying, like, in defense of decent games. Like, it's okay to launch a game and have it be good, have it be decent. You know what I mean? To be fair, you don't start working as soon as you show up. That's why early is on time. No, I start working the minute I'm clocked in. So if I show up we show up 1 or 2 minutes early and clock in, that's all I need to do. I don't need to show up for 15 minutes and stand around. Now, if I show up on time and then I waste 15 minutes of company time putting my coat away, making a cup of coffee, checking the numbers before I'm out on the sales floor, that's a different conversation. If I show up 2 minutes early, clock in the chair, on the floor, good to go, that's all the time I need, then you leave me alone. You're only paying me to be here during this time period. You're not paying me to be here 15 minutes early. You know what I'm saying? So Psychonauts 2 on Metacritic got an 87 with 63 reviews. Ratchet got an 88 with 126 reviews. So that's double the reviews. That's harder to maintain a higher score, man. That's harder to maintain a higher score. That's people now? That's people always. You think we're in a new era of laziness? That's people always. I worked in retail 20 years ago. It was the same then as it is now. No one wants to work at your store. Do you think I want to sell your cell phones? No, I'm here because I have bills to pay. I'm not here because I've captured the vision of your business. Just leave me alone. I'm here. I'm clocked in. I'll sell your little trinkets and your toys. Just be quiet. Just be quiet. That's people now. That's people always. So I actually think when you look at, our expectations about games, we're becoming that to a certain extent. I call it the video game metamorphosis effect. You've gone through a metamorphosis, right? You have gone through a metamorphosis. For the last 5 years, that metamorphosis has slowed down. The differences in quality, graphical fidelity, and all that, it's slowed down. Now we're at another echelon where the value is about to uptick, right? If you saw the Horizon Forbidden West trailer, God of War gameplay, right? There's about to be a nice uptick in quality. But we've been down here on a plateau for about 5 years. Every game that comes out, it looks fine, it looks good, but it's not blowing your mind. There was a 10-year period where every game that came out was just blowing the doors off the car. Just new this, amazing that. Oh my gosh, I've never had this experience. And then, after that 10-year period ended, we went through what I would call, progress purgatory, where not a lot changed. Another game came out, another sequel came out, and they kind of looked the same as the last game, and they kind of felt the same as the last game, and you were like, well, this isn't blowing the doors off the car anymore. It's just another video game. We're about to come out of that progress purgatory, and we're about to play games like Forspoken, and maybe Starfield's going to be as good as they claim. We're about to enter another era of quality improvement. But the challenge is, again, people don't like a good game. A good game isn't good enough. You need an amazing game. You need an excellent game, right? Scores on Metacritic, Psychonauts 2 versus Ratchet is a 7.5 with 1,300 ratings, 8.7 with 1,400 ratings. When you let that many people vote, come on, man. I don't know. Fanboys review bomb it, though. An unfalsifiable position is my absolute favorite. It's an unfalsifiable position. Every evidence you come up with, the fanboys review bomb. So there couldn't have been Xbox fanboys review bombing Ratchet and Clank. Maybe there were PS4 owners review bombing Ratchet and Clank because they couldn't get it because it was on PS5. It's just an unfalsifiable position. You've decided that the game is better and it's worthy of Game of the Year, and it doesn't matter how many evidence points land that are yeah, probably not. It's great that you like it, right? But you cannot ignore the overwhelming trend in official reviews, user reviews, public perception, public reviews, right? There's more PlayStation fanboys than Xbox fanboys, and we both know this. Yes, and here's checkmate. Are you ready? I'm sliding the rook across the board, and there's sweat on your brow, and you're like, oh no, here it comes. There's 118 million PlayStation 4s in circulation during the launch of Ratchet and Clank, and they couldn't buy it. They couldn't buy it. Plenty of motivation to go review bomb the fact that their favorite franchise, their long-standing franchise, didn't land on their system. You just checked yourself. You just played yourself. Like, if you're going to make that point that, like, people went and review bombed Psychonauts 2 because they're PlayStation fanboys, they could have easily done the same thing to Ratchet and Clank because millions of people, millions couldn't get it and were unhappy about that. Come on. Yo, good morning, Snow. Come on. But the PS4 users won't review bomb it because they love PS too much. You seem to know a lot and speak a lot for tons of other people when it supports your premise. That's suspect. That's suspect. You 120 million PlayStation users and you're speaking for them right now because you want to support your premise. That's weak. That's a weak argument. Sorry, it's weak. I'm glad you like the game. Psychonauts 2 had a charm to it. I thought it was kind of cool. I liked it. But it's not even it's not it's not on the same level. It's not on the same. I am not a PlayStation fanboy, right? I'm not. I am not a PlayStation fanboy, and I'm telling you right now, I had never played Ratchet and Clank before. I played the remastered version the day before, and that game blew my mind. I was like, I have never had this experience. I felt the way that I felt the first time I played Super Mario Brothers on the Nintendo Entertainment System Christmas morning when we got it, like 1988 or something. 1989, I can't remember the year. I hadn't felt that way about a video game in ages. You didn't even play the full remake? No, I played it for one afternoon. I was like, okay, cool. And then on the next day I played it. And then I was like, I've never played anything like this. What I expect from someone who skips Hades dialogue? I didn't skip Hades dialogue the first time I played it. The most recent time I played it was a replay. I went back, so I was hearing all the same dialogue again. If you want to dismiss me because I skipped Hades dialogue, that's fine. If I'm that threatening that you have to find a way out, I take that as a compliment. I take that as a compliment now. When people try to dismiss me in my opinion, I'm like, am I that threatening? Is it that difficult to engage with what I'm saying that you have to dismiss me? Because that's what you're doing. You're taking the easy way out. You're like, well, I don't want to have to argue with this guy, so... Yeah, well, you tried to play New World with a controller, so... You tried to play an MMO with a controller, so, like, clearly you can't be correct. Like, there's brain surgeons that probably put ketchup on their steak, and I would want to smack them, but they're still incredibly qualified as a brain surgeon, you know? Like... Well, I don't know if I'm going to trust you for this surgery, Doc, because you do something that I don't do. That's all I need to dismiss your intelligence and your qualifications. You know, you do something that I don't agree with, so... The 2021 handbook to arguing on the internet. Simply find a point of something that they do that you don't do, create a point of condescension and elitism about it, and dismiss them and everything that they've said. That's it. That's the handbook for arguing in 2021. That's all you have to do. You don't finish games. I don't take opinions from content creators that don't finish games. Yeah, that's another one. That's another one. If you type that in all seriousness, that's hilarious if you mean it. Thank you, Snow, for becoming a member. Enjoy your dope badge and emotes. You're dope, Snow. You know you're dope, Snow. Snow's one of those people that knows she's dope. You know what I'm saying? I like people like that. They just know. I'm dope. What? What's wrong with ketchup on steak? everything. Everything is wrong with ketchup on steak. It's like taking a Lego brick and super gluing it to the Mona Lisa. The frick are you doing? Why are you taking a child's condiment that you use to get your kid to eat their fish sticks and putting it on an adult work of art? Why would you do that? Stop it. Stop it. If you're going to put ketchup on steak, save yourself some money and just buy chicken nuggets, because you're eating like a child, okay? You're eating like a child, so just embrace it. If you want to eat like a child, that's totally fine. I'm not going to stop you from eating like a child, but stop sullying a work of art. I did. You don't finish games. Why would I get your opinion on a book you didn't finish? Like, you type that as if I'm gonna care. Like, it's cute. It's cute. There's a level of adorableness that, like, you type that like I'm gonna care. Like, my qualifications to speak on a game's content loop, combat fluidity, satisfying gameplay, storytelling, voice acting, graphics, cinematography, all of those things, I can't speak on that until I get to the very end of the game. Like, I can't give you what's called, you've heard of these, right? First impressions. I can't say, here's a nice snapshot of this game and here's what I think. I don't do top to bottom score reviews. Why? Because, as you say, I don't finish the game. I would never be like, yeah, guys, it's a solid 8 out of 10. But you played it for 30 minutes, Lono. Then you'd have a case. Then you'd have a case. But what do? I say, all right, I think the first 30 minutes to an hour is one of the most important parts in a video game, because that's when you hook the player. That's when you establish the story and the content loop. What am I going to be doing and why am I doing it? That's it, right? That's it. That is the runway of the game. And judging that runway, I think, is totally fair, and lots of people really value that, because they're like, all right, Lono, what's it like? What's it like? You've been in the game for an hour. What do you think? Right? What do you think? Well, until I see the credits roll, I can't say anything. I'm too stupid to judge the game's quality, value, and its merits, because until my brain has been filled with the entire game, like until it's full and filled with that, I'm just too dumb. So I'll reserve my judgment when we hit hour 23 and the credits are rolling. Like, get the frick out of here. Plenty of people do that. What, do you not ask your friend? Your friend plays the game, for an afternoon, and you don't ask them, how is it? Is it any good? You don't do that? You don't do that. Come on. You do that. You would ask your friend, how is it? Is it any good? Because you know in the first hour or two. You know if the game's any good. You're not, it's going to get way better in hour 15. No, it's not. Almost no games do that. I don't feel that needs to be played the whole way to get a picture. First 30 minutes to an hour, and I don't think you're stupid. You're putting words in my mouth now. Well, I'm showing the silliness of your position. Because the silliness of your position is that you don't trust my review because I haven't finished the entire game. But my review is... It's a snapshot. It's a first impressions. Here's what I think so far. And I've even told people, I'm like, right now, I give this game a solid 7. Where I am right now, what I've played, I give it a solid 7. Take that for what it's worth. I don't even make reviews, brother. I don't. Have you ever seen me do a review? I think I've done a couple, and they were very rare, and they didn't do that well. Have you ever seen me do a top to the bottom review with a 10-point score at the end? I don't do that. That's not the kind of content I create. I don't ask if it's good. I ask if they like it. You're asking them the same thing. Is the pizza any good? No, it's terrible. But did you like it? Oh yeah, it's delicious. Those sentences don't exist. If they like it, that's a value judgment. They're saying that it's good. Did you like it? Oh yeah, the pizza's amazing. Oh, okay, I'll get some. Well, no, why would you do that? It's terrible. It's bad. Wait, but you just said that you liked it. If they like it, they're saying that it's good. That's what they're saying. Be prepared for ketchup steaks, all I'm saying. Mo, I love that you think that. Like, I love that there are people in the world that are so different from me. Like, that makes the world more interesting, you know? You make the world more interesting, Mo, because you think. You're not playing a part. You think it. You think that Psychonauts 2 has a chance for Game of the Year. And that, to me, makes the world more interesting. It's like reading The Lord of the Rings and you suddenly discover elves for the first time. You're like, there are people out there that are completely different than the cast of characters up to this point. And it's awesome. It's going to be great. You understand the brilliance of what I've done, right? That even if I'm wrong, I get to make it entertaining. Do you see? I win either way, Mo. I win either way. You're playing on my chessboard, my friend. Streamer eats ketchup with steak. Because Psychonauts 2 wins Game of the Year. Oh, man. It's fun either way. I win either way. Let me put a question up on the board here from Sven. I remember yours is too long. This is the first time we've had this happen. Sven, well done. You wrote something that is so long that it doesn't fit in my 4 lines of text box. You are a champion. I remember we posted the question about Far Cry 6 being samey as the rest, and if that's really a bad thing. Is it a bad thing that Vanguard feels samey as the rest? They know their audience and their formula. Vanguard will be fine, in my opinion. I don't want you to hear me talking out of both sides of my mouth, because I knew this was going to happen. I was like, well, somebody's going to call me to the mat and say, now, wait a minute, Lono. You defended Far Cry 6. You defended God of War Ragnarok for being more of the same. Why is it suddenly a problem for Call of Duty? It's a problem for Call of Duty because it's a beta and it's about to be an open beta. The curiosity gap has been closed. Because right now, you can read a review of Far Cry 6. You can read early speculations about God of War Ragnarok, and the curiosity gap is still there. I'm going to see for myself. You see? I'm going to see for myself if this game is too samey or too similar, right? And to a certain extent, there's a giant difference between saying Far Cry 6 is just another Far Cry. There's a lot of Far Cry fans that'll perk up and be like, sounds good to me. It's different when you can go play Warzone, isn't it? Why? This isn't that amazing. This isn't that standout. I'll go back to Warzone. You see how Warzone poses a problem here? This is why the theory that somebody outlined this morning, they're like, well, they're going to get you to play Call of Duty Vanguard by having Call of Duty Warzone weapons and progression and stuff tied to it. Like, that's what they're going to do. It's not like if Far Cry 6 gets decried as being too much like past Far Cries, you're not like, well, I guess I'll go back and play the others. You're like, well, no, I've already played them. Right? Like, if you hear Call of Duty Vanguard is too samey, you might say, well, I'll just stick to Warzone. Or, because it's an open beta, you just go play it. And you're like, That's why I think the open beta was a mistake. I think that Call of Duty is in a different era now. They're in the era of the broad. Like, they're so broad. There's so many different ways to play Call of Duty right now. There's Modern Warfare, there's Black Ops Cold War, there's Warzone, and in walks Vanguard. And Vanguard has to convince you that it's worth it. And I worry that a beta is showing people that it's not. They're like, it's okay. New game mode's kind of weird. This game's not really my cup of tea. Right? When Vanguard drops, a Vanguard will be super OP. A Vanguard weapon will be super OP in Warzone. So everybody will download Vanguard to level up the gun for Warzone. See, like, that aliens are real. That's what somebody was saying. They're like, yeah. They're going to tie the two together. That's how they're going to get you. And I got to tell you, if they do it, I can't fault them for it. Game respects game. Like, that's an excellent play if they do that. That is an excellent, excellent play if they do that. Here, let's do this again. You guys ready? If you guys are enjoying the show, hit the subscribe button, the bell button, smash that like button, and stick around because we're talking Spider-Man 2 co-op info and the Wolverine game rating. Okay. You like that? I like that. That's fun. I can't even hear it. I don't wear headphones anymore, so I'm just like, yeah, it's just a little commercial spot. It's just a little station identification for you. Lono, you're lagging. What's going on? The audio's messed up. Lono, you're on. There's always that guy in the crowd. It's like as soon as something bad goes wrong, I could be literally like, guys, my arm is on fire. My arm is on fire. I have caught on fire, and someone in the chat be like, hey Lono, I think you should know you're on fire right now. Thanks, buddy. We appreciate those observation skills. We wouldn't be here without you. We'd be lost. Thank you very much. That's good. That's a good bit. You gotta roast chat a little bit. You do. You have to roast them a little bit sometimes. You gotta let them know that they're being chat. 1970s Kung Fu movie. That's right. Funny story about Vanguard. My toddler bought it when playing with my remote on pre-sale for $100, and I had to get it refunded. You know what's funny, Snow? You know what's funny is they probably didn't believe you. They were like, sure, uh-huh. The only thing in your corner was that you probably didn't install and play the beta. If you would have installed and played the beta, they'd be like, uh-huh, yeah, I bet you didn't. You boot up and play the beta, you're like, this is trash. And you call them up and you're like, my kid was doing something. Can I get my money back? And they're like, are you kidding me? You know what I mean? Not to alarm you, Lono, but you have glasses on your face. That's right. Let's take another question or comment from the audience. You can use the question command to be featured right here on the stream. If you're new, click subscribe and like and all that. How do you feel about the yearly releases like Call of Duty and Assassin's Creed? I honestly don't like them, and I feel it's just the same game with slight differences. I don't think you can charge Assassin's Creed with this at all anymore. I really don't. I don't think you can. So Assassin's Creed Origins to Odyssey to Valhalla, no. I disagree with that strongly. I could probably prove that false. I know people are like, well, it's subjective. I think you could prove that false. You could actually add up the differences in fighting, in style, in mechanics, in substance, in storytelling, in world building, in the content loop, and you could be like, no, there's too many differences for this. There's too many differences between these three titles for this to be true. There's too many differences, right? Now, Call of Duty, I don't think I could do that. I think you may be closer to accurate on that claim. Like the sports games that release every year and they update the roster. Yeah, and Assassin's Creed isn't even on an annual release anymore. That's also true. We need to remember that, Valhalla put a stop to that. They're like, we're not doing annual releases anymore. We're going to invest in Valhalla, and Valhalla is their testing ground for Assassin's Creed Infinity, their Assassin's Creed live service game. I have played Black Flag. Unfortunately, I didn't finish it, and I spent way too much time in the boat. Me and my friends, that's all we would do. We would just go out and sit in the boat and just ride around. So, never installed it, called it within the day. Yeah, they probably could see that you didn't install it, and that's why they gave you your money back. So I think that some franchises do this, and other franchises, I think, get unfairly accused of this, right? I don't think Assassin's Creed has done this for a while. I don't even think Far Cry is doing that. Like, when I look at that Far Cry game, I'm like, no, this is not just another Far Cry with some minor changes. It's a whole new game, whole new story and setting and weapons and mechanics and the characters. Like, yeah, the sea shanties are OP. They really were. They really hooked you. They really got you to stay out there on the water. Another game you never finished, how dare you? I remember I would jump in a party with my buddy, and we would just be talking and shooting the bull, just sailing. Like, we just loved it, you know? And sadly, that's one of the best parts in Sea of Thieves. I find it hypnotic to boot up Sea of Thieves and like the music's like lightly in the background and the spray of the ocean's coming up the side and the ship is going up and down and you hear like the random, you know, the creaking and the popping of the ship and you got to move the sails in the wind. I love it. And then the game happens and I'm like, oh, I'm done. You get trolled or you get griefed or, you know, the game lights your ship on fire, you know, and you're coming back with a bunch of treasure. Like, it's such a juxtaposition. It's so peaceful and hypnotic. It's almost therapeutic to sail in Sea of Thieves. And then the game comes along and it was like, what are you doing there? You relaxing? Okay. Well, how about a bucket of cold water? And you're like, why'd you do that? I was enjoying myself, relaxing here in this beautiful scenery, man. Leave me alone. The crying chest sinks your ship. Yeah. We walked away and took a break. Came back, and Hilly had put the crying chest on the ship, sunk the ship. That's it. Every once in a while, I think he and I got to go back to that game. Just be like, all right, we're going back in, chat. We're going to see how this goes. We got to stay away from the tall tales. We got to do like the small, you know, dinky stuff that doesn't matter. You know, we got to stick to those things. Roger with a question says, what are your thoughts on gaming companies putting barriers for betas like pre-orders or specific platforms? So the Call of Duty Vanguard beta requires a pre-order, but eventually it doesn't, okay? The alpha was just something that PlayStation users could play, and then the beta had early access that you could get into if you pre-ordered. So Call of Duty Vanguard open beta will be happening, okay? It will be happening. And here is the reality. You're not entitled to a beta. You're not entitled to an open beta, an alpha, a technical test. You're not entitled to that. If a company decides to let you see and play their game before it comes out, that's their prerogative. It's their property, it's their product, and they're allowed to position it in the best way that they think that it'll do well. And if in their mind they think the best thing to do is to say, if you pre-order, we're going to let you play the game for a couple of days. You know, it'll help us stress test the servers. You'll get a glimpse at the game. Everybody wins, right? People flip this all the way around. They're like, it's so scummy for a game to hide a beta behind a paywall. It's like, so let me ask you something. Isn't that kind of what purchasing the game is, right? If you want to play the game, it's behind a paywall, right? Like, you don't get to play the game for free. You can wait for reviews, or you can buy it and see for yourself. Like, a beta isn't behind a paywall, right? Access to the game, to try it out, to sample it, to see what it's like. If you want to play the Call of Duty Vanguard beta, you got to pre-order. And guess what? You don't have to pre-order. You can wait and play the open beta and save your dollars. Do you see? That, to me, we get this one backwards. The gaming community gets this one backwards all of the time. You're not entitled to access to the game before it comes out. You're not owed that. They've shown you trailers. They've shown you gameplay. The price is set. And you know that you can wait. You can watch a streamer, a trusted YouTuber. You can read the review outlets. And you can make up your mind. You can save your pennies. Getting your mitts on it early in a beta, that's nothing that you're entitled to. That's not something that you just, oh yeah, you should get it. That should be industry standard. No, it shouldn't. Should Netflix let you watch like the first 2 episodes of a season and then you make up your mind and decide whether or not you want to buy? Now, they do free trials, but again, they've done the market research. They know that there's ROI on a free trial. Why? Well, because you're gonna get in there and you're gonna binge watch, you're gonna love what you see, and you're gonna want to keep it. And there's a certain percentage of people that'll forget, and they'll start charging them. They'll get you for at least 1 month. You'll forget to cancel it. They do that with Showtime and HBO and Amazon, right? Like, you get a free month, and I set a reminder in my calendar because I know I'll forget. It'll go bing, cancel HBO and Amazon. Oh, and I go and I do it right then, because I know if not, it's going to roll the next day and it's going to bill me. They're counting on that. Now, a beta doesn't get to do that. A beta is just like, yeah, you just get to come and play the game. So when the Call of Duty Vanguard open beta hits and everybody can go in and play it and everybody can go in and sample it, you're getting access to something that's not owed to you. That's just something that they benefit from it, right? They get certain people hooked. They get certain people to say, oh, that was fun, I'll buy. They get certain people to say, you know, I'm definitely going to play this with my friends. And while that's happening, they get to stress test their servers. Like, it's a win-win for them as long as the content is good enough to not just turn people off, right? Stars is 99 cents for 90 days right now. Oh my. What's on there? Is there anything worth watching on there? They always do that, and then you go and you look, and you're like, I've already seen all this, right? I've already played all of this. The August 2021 top sellers for video games. August 2021 U.S. top 20 video game sellers on all platforms. Madden in first place. Ghost of Tsushima in second place. Why is Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War up there? Humankind, Spider-Man Miles Morales. Wow. How is that is impressive that Ghost of Tsushima is up there. That is impressive. I wonder if that's because they like, trying to think of why that would be that high. It's crazy to me that it is that high. For Ghost of Tsushima. There must be so many people that love that loved Legends, you know? There must be so many people that loved it and enjoyed it enough to like, I gotta jump back in this director's cut. You know, the bundles or whatever. What do you mean there was a director's cut? Yeah, but Eugene, I wouldn't expect it to outsell some of those other titles. So many held off. Yeah, but there must have been a monsoon of PlayStation 5 owners that were like holding off, maybe. I'm just looking at that list and thinking that is freaking impressive. There's some heavy hitters on that list, you know. Maybe the sales for everything else were markedly down because there wasn't a strong desire to buy a lot of games in August, right? It could be that August was a bit of a drought for big titles and Tsushima was like the big dog on the block, you know. It could literally be a comparison thing. You know I love Ghost of Tsushima. Like, I love it deeply. I've been tempted to be like, guys, we're going to play the game on lethal for like the next month. And that's just what you're going to see in the afternoons is me just absolutely putting myself through the ringer. I'm not going to do it. But there's a part of me that really wants to. Believe it or not, I haven't played the director's cut yet. I've been playing the Aliens one with a Brit Bud. Oh yeah, Aliens Fireteam is just so fun. It really, really is. It's very, very fun. I probably would have played the Call of Duty Vanguard Alpha with a buddy and it back in the old days, right? Back in the old days, I would have done that, right? I would have been like, yeah, dude, let's play this. This would be fun. Now, the Call of Duty Vanguard Beta, I don't know about that. I don't know if I would have played it as nearly as much because I'd have been like, it's just team deathmatch. Maybe the trios, maybe Champion Hill trios, me and a buddy would have snagged somebody else and thrown in, right? Lethal isn't that hard except for the bosses. I just think it would be fun to platinum the game, beat everything off stream, and then boot that thing up and say, I'm doing it. I'm going to beat every square inch of this game on lethal. but it would be terrible. It would be so terrible for the channel. Nobody wants to watch that because it would take forever. Right? It would take forever. Justin with a question here, related no doubt to the NVIDIA leak that took place. If you guys didn't see, there was an NVIDIA leak and a bunch of PlayStation titles are, I have that video series on my whiteboard. Oh, really? Okay, well, maybe we can find space for it. Apparently the NVIDIA leak is real. NVIDIA has claimed and confirmed that the leak is real. However, it's speculative, okay? So keep that in your mind when I read this question. Should PlayStation games come to PC maybe after a year of exclusivity? PlayStation games are going to continue to come to PC approximately 18 months after. This is my prediction, right? Approximately 18 months after their release, they will come to PC because there is an unbelievable amount of PC users that will buy those games. Days Gone and Horizon Zero Dawn were test cases. Horizon Zero Dawn didn't do so hot. Its port was a little rough. They had to patch it as it went on. But Days Gone is, I think, one of the best, if not the best, console to PC ports that I have ever played. Rock solid, zero problems, excellent performance. It's like it was made for PC. The fact, those were test cases. And if the Days Gone, surge of interest and probably good sales numbers are an indication, they're going to continue doing this. I believe it will become standard in a couple of years. I believe it'll become standard. Big first-party PlayStation titles will get kicked over to PC 18 months later or more. 18 months, maybe 2 years later, boom, it'll get kicked over to PC. You're going to be able to play. Write it down. I think this. I truly think this. You're going to be able to play Ghost of Tsushima, God of War, Uncharted. Well, we already know Uncharted's confirmed. You're going to be able to play these games on your PC. There's not a doubt in my mind. Horizon Forbidden West, 18 months to 2 years later, boom, it'll hit PC. Ratchet and Clank, if they can figure out the data controller aspect of it. Haptic feedback can be brought to PC. They recently did it with another game. What was the game they did it with? It was a shooter, a dark sort of post-apocalyptic shooter, added haptic feedback for PC. So you can plug in your PlayStation 5 controller and get the haptic feedback. So yeah, Returnal. I bet you Returnal comes. Oh my gosh, Returnal would be a smash hit on PC. Can you stream Tales of Arise? I streamed Tales of Arise yesterday. If you want to see the first hour and a half to 2 hours or so of Tales of Arise, I will not be going back to it. I returned it and refunded it. It's not a game that I would play long term. I don't really play JRPGs. Returnal would be a smash hit on PC. The Rogue audience would eat that up. It's mysterious. It's dark. It's a third-person bullet hell rogue. Like, where are you going to play that game anywhere else? It's phenomenal. I know it's only Tuesday, but I look forward to a From Friday this week. Maybe, possibly, please. What's Friday's date? The 17th? I don't know. I'll have to look and see if there's anything releasing on the 17th. You see, the danger of you poor From Friday guys is Friday is a really, really popular day for launches. Right? It's a really, really popular day for launches. And it looks like releases.com is not working right now. I'll check Steam and see if there's anything hitting Steam on the 17th. Yeah, it's going to be tough. I might be able to get a code for Origami 2, and then we could have that be a premiere. Tales of Iron launches on Friday. I don't see anything major launching on Friday, though. We could probably do those as recordings, especially if I can get a code. That guy measured exhaust, which you would expect to be higher if the machine was more efficient at removing heat. Yeah, wasn't there a guy who recently did a follow-up video about that, and he was like, it was about like when to use thermal cameras and when not to or something? So, maybe change the day for From? No. So, let me explain how From Friday works. So there's From Friday, Throwback Thursday, Rewind Wednesday, First Time Tuesdays, and then there's Pass or Play Monday. Every day has a theme that you can vote on, except for From Friday, obviously, because we're going to just keep playing Dark Souls 3 until I beat it. Okay, those are basically our fallback plan if there's nothing major going on. That way, every day has a theme. So we're like, is there anything big launching? Deathloop's launching. Okay, so guess what? First Time Tuesday was supposed to be Godfall. So that gets kicked over as a 45-minute recording. It was, first 30 minutes. It ended up being 45 minutes. So you can see the first 45 minutes of Godfall. It's a perfect video. I go through the entire beginning. I fight the very first boss. I get through the whole first area. We get through basically the intro of Godfall. It's a perfect video if you're interested in Godfall and where it stands right now, right? But I'm not streaming it because that just doesn't make any sense. Deathloop is all the rage right now, so we're going to play Deathloop. So I can't move From Friday because it would get the same treatment if I moved it, and then the name wouldn't make any sense anyway. So I know you love it, but I make content for more people than just the people that love From Friday. I got to be sensible and big picture and smart, and it looks like this Friday is in the clear. It looks like it's in the clear because if I get a code for Origami 2, I would then record that the night before, so then that can hit presents. I don't think there's any major launches this Friday, so From Friday should be safe. But I'm not going to move it because every other day is getting the same treatment. We have a theme, and that's a fallback plan if there's nothing major releasing. I hadn't heard that yet. Everything I heard was that the new one was smaller and the heatsink was overheating, so it had me worried. No, there's a video that caused a lot of misinformation, Patrick. It's inconclusive. It could mean that it's running hotter. It's more likely that it's exhausting more efficiently, so the air coming out's really hot. Like, when I put my hand behind my gaming rig, it is hot. My rig runs just fine. It maintains good temperatures. Why? That's why. Because the air coming out's hot. The air coming out is hot. That's what you want. You don't want it in there. You want it blasting out of the back. The same lab that was the first to show the 3080s had a design flaw, and it wasn't New World. Yeah, so this German lab, Eugene is saying, has proved that the PlayStations are not running hotter. The new models are not running hotter. So, here's Master Ty. Will you do a video stream for your pick for Game of the Year? When we get close enough, me and Creature can brainstorm exactly how we want to set the table before and then during and then after the Video Game Awards. That certainly could be a good stream. My predictions or my vote, like what I think should win, that could be fun. We'd have to see about how we could curate that and repurpose that. Like, can we shrink those down into shorter videos? Is that a possibility? We'd have to see, because that's tough. That kind of thing is tough to cover because it would just be, and we like doing opinion pieces, but it would be very, very heavily opinion based. So that I think would be something we got to consider, how to frame it and how to make it. I want to make it good. That's my biggest challenge right now. I want the content to be excellent. I don't want to do something just for the sake of it, and that's why I'll play. People yesterday are like, why are you playing a JRPG? This is so cringe. This is so awful. And I'm like, because it's a super new and relevant game. People voted for it, and it's a great way to sample a JRPG. If you're on the fence, if you're a fan of them, if you ever felt like dabbling in them, I'm the perfect person to watch play it, right? Like, it's fun and it's informative. You know what I mean? Minch Tree, talking about the Call of Duty Vanguard beta, says, have you ever been swayed by a beta? I watched a little of your stream of Call of Duty and I wasn't blown away. Just another shooter. Nothing in there to get me by. The Call of Duty Vanguard alpha turned me off. Big time. Okay? Big time. Call of Duty Vanguard alpha. I was like, I don't know about this, boys. This is rough. Call of Duty Vanguard beta, I thought, okay, team deathmatch and the maps felt a little bit better. Guns felt good. I had a good game, right? That really can sway you, can it? Right. That can sway you. I had a bad first game, and then I had a great second game. That can convince you of how great a game is. It can. It 100% can. And, but as far as being swayed by a beta, you know what's funny is the most memorable betas of late ended up being a pretty big misrepresentation of the game. The Outriders beta, fun, ran well, played it on my PC, had no issues, thought this is pretty good. The beginning's a little cringy, a little weird, but the gameplay loop isn't that bad. And then the game launches. Yikes. Holy friggin' yikes. This is rough, right? Having all kind of performance issues on my PC. Had to leave all my PC characters behind. Division 1 beta. So great, so fun. Game launched. Yeah, not so much. Anthem beta. Oh man, this is a dope looking little game. It's a fun little content loop. And then the game launched. You're like, what is this? So I don't know if I've ever been swayed by a beta. The best video game beta I've ever played, I wonder if you guys could guess it. Those of you that have watched me for a really long time, I'm going to give you a minute to try to guess the best beta that I've ever played. I would say it swayed me. I was probably going to get the game regardless, but I've consistently mentioned this game in its beta as being one of the best betas I've ever played. No, that's not it, Cloud. No. Those videos are popular at the end of the year, definitely. Oh, at the end of the year, yeah, that could be, yeah, my picks for game of the year or best games of 2021. Nope, it's not Anthem. No, I've mentioned this before. I've mentioned about how it was the most stable beta that I've ever played. I've mentioned that their beta played better than a lot of AAA game launches at the time. That's some of the language that I've used about this beta. I've mentioned this beta many times, and that's how I've referred to it, is that it was rock solid and it ran stable in other AAA game launches at the time. ADJC got it, Titanfall. I think the Titanfall beta to date is one of the best betas I've ever played. It was basically just the game. It was basically just the game. Like, the game was ready, right? The game was ready. You were playing Titanfall. You know? Turkey the Dinosaur Hunter. You mean Turok? If you guys are new and you haven't hit subscribe yet, consider doing that. Hit the bell button, set it to all. We will be talking about Spider-Man co-op info and Wolverine game rating. We'll be talking about that later. If you want to stick around for that. You got to be subscribed to talk in the chat. If you haven't smashed the like button, consider doing that. Yeah, Penny Raiders VR, that's it. Yeah, Titanfall was basically, it wasn't even really a beta. It was like, here, we're going to let you play the game. It was like early access is really what it was. Did you enjoy Surgeon Simulator? Surgeon Simulator is great, and then you get to this one level, and it's just not great at all. It isn't great at all. It was awkward. It was frustrating. We didn't know where to go, right? It was so irritating. And then the levels after that, it was very easy to figure out what we needed to do, and then it's just a matter of doing it. Like, the challenge is doing it, not figuring. Like, to me, that's the beauty of Surgeon Simulator. You set the stage for what I need to do, and then I'm clumsily trying to do it, especially if you're drinking, right? Don't make it to where I have to figure out what I'm supposed to do first, and then I have the pressure of doing it. That one level was just so stupid. You know what I mean? That's how you know I've been keeping listening. He never shuts up about it. I do mention it pretty regularly. The Titanfall beta gets mentioned at least once a week. It does. But yeah, Surgeon Simulator, we may try the PvP this week and then put it down. I want to try and finish the game. I think we're really, really close to finishing the game. It's just, games like that run their course. As soon as me and Hilly are spending time, like, sitting there like cavemen, like, trying to figure it out, the entertainment factor goes right out the window. It just goes right out the window. It needs to be, like, laid-back, goofy fun. Human Fall Flat. It Takes Two. A Way Out. You know, like, the beginning of Surgeon Simulator. That's what we need games. We need them to strike that note. And the minute they start striking this note of complexity, and it's complicated, and there's a puzzle, we're sitting there like breathing heavy, you know, 2 or 3 beers in, like, Okay, so where do we put the thing? No, it just doesn't work. Surgeon Simulator is fun, but it doesn't work for what we want to do. It just starts to fall. Narwaffle says, a bit off topic, but have you ever played any of the Fables? Are you excited at all about the reboot by Playground? I played Fable 3. Me and my buddies played Fable 3 a lot. Couldn't you play that together, but not really? Wasn't there... I swear there was something you could do in Fable 3 where you could, like, join each other's games and see each other, but you couldn't, like, run around and play together. Is my memory correct on that? My memory is so fuzzy on that game. I feel like I remember my buddies being in my lobby and dancing or something, and you could, like, show off your house and your homestead, but I don't think you could run around and play together. That's my memory of Fable 3. If it's an RPG and it's fun, I'll check it out. I'll check it out. I remember giving my friends money. Yeah. Patrick Bowersock says, do you think Xbox controllers getting haptic feedback will be a good option? Rumor has it Microsoft is working on making that happen. If there's one thing I know about Microsoft is they really, really like to sell you on features that you can only get on their platform. But at the same time, I do think they want to be able to say, yeah, we have that too. I think the biggest challenge to them doing haptic feedback on the Microsoft controller is, first, their controllers are absolute garbage trash to begin with. And I mean that. The Microsoft new generation of Xbox controllers are so bad, they're in a class action lawsuit about how bad they are because of the stick drift. They're garbage. They are pieces of trash. I have an Elite controller. Right as soon as the warranty went up, the bumper went bad on it. I've got at least 2 controllers with stick drift that make it almost impossible to play. So until Microsoft can get their controller quality control like in a good place, don't talk to me about haptic feedback, right? Don't talk to me about haptic feedback. Talk to me about, like, I literally have a drawer of controllers. They had a patent for haptic before PS brought out theirs. They just didn't do it. Yeah, I have countless controllers with terrible stick drift. And you want to know where my controller sits? Right? Do you want to know where it sits? This is where my controller sits. I set my controller on a stand every night. Claptrap gets to hold it. I treat my controllers like they're made out of glass. I sit, I hold it, I'm nice and gentle with it, and then I set it down. I actually prefer an Xbox controller, but my Elite bumper went bad, and virtually every controller I have in my house. Now, I have a red one and a teal one I bought from Target that have not experienced stick drift yet. But if my Xbox ships with a controller or I buy an Elite, every time it has problems, a year and a half later, right? A year and a half later that's having all these problems. Like, yours being fine, that's great. They're literally in a class action lawsuit because the problems are so widespread. Like, there's like a consumer level lawsuit of like, you knowingly were selling garbage. Like, what are you doing? You can't come out into the public and be like, yeah, it's a $50, $60, $70, $80, $200 controller and it's garbage. You know what I mean? The dead zone set on Aliens is humongous, probably to avoid stick drift. No settings for dead zone. Oh, really? The Series 2 Elites are boo-boo. I'm aiming for a Scuff Elite. Yeah, I reached out to Scuff. They're adding new people next year. I was trying to work with them. You know what I mean? Because I don't feel like buying a new controller right now. But I love a Microsoft Xbox controller. I love them. And I'm so tempted to buy an Elite, but it's like, I know I'm going to buy the Elite, and then it's going to get to the end of its warranty and have all these problems. You know what I mean? That's pretty good considering how much you play in a year. But that's what I never had this problem before. They did something. It's not my fault. It's not like, oh, you became a streamer. No, I had plenty of Xbox controllers, and I played with them for years on stream with no problem. The new generation of controllers, they're bad. They have a quality deficiency in them. And it's not because I play a lot. Call of Duty has dead zone settings, and I found out one of my sticks was way worse than another. Oh, really? Huh. Microsoft was not first. Microsoft files their patents, and everyone was like, that looks like Sony's tech. Huh. Doesn't Sony PlayStation controller suffer from stick drift? Apparently they do. Neither my white PlayStation controller nor my black. Neither of them have experienced any stick drift. Neither have. So, that doesn't mean that they don't. Like, just because mine works doesn't mean that they don't. Do you know what I mean? You definitely throw your controllers at the wall after the end of streaming. No. I've never thrown a controller. I threw a pair of headphones once, but I've never thrown a controller. I just bought a new Elite controller last night. Spent an extra $23 on a 3-year warranty. Who'd you get the warranty through? Like, what is it, like Amazon? If you get the controller through Best Buy and get the warranty, you can just swap them out, no questions asked. Yeah. Years of orbit sitting is now called playing. That's what's actually funny, OG Boxer. I actually was playing less as of late. You know? The Splitgate devs just got $100 million in funding. Well, somebody sees something that I see. Somebody sees something that I see. I told you I felt like that game had something special. $100 million. Their back end revenue has to be good. It has to be. They went to somebody and said, look at this. Come on. Yo, Invicta with a gaming tier 1 membership and a blue joystick. Guys, if you haven't done a membership here and you're considering doing it, we greatly appreciate it. If you're maintaining your membership on the other channel or you're doing both, we greatly appreciate that. Thank you very much for anybody doing a membership. We really, really appreciate it. You can do that by clicking join or using the join command in chat. All that we really ask is that you sub and try to be here as often as possible. $5 tip from Top Reply. JS64 controller never had issues. Oh yeah, just saying. Yeah. Well, eventually they did. Come on. Eventually they did. They did. They eventually kind of acted up. I constantly switch my Elite out when working. Controller when working is the best I've ever used. I put up with the crap, but it's horribly built. How are people just now talking about Splitgate? I was playing the beta over a year and barely anyone was talking about it. I thought it was good, but why is it on the radar now? It launched its beta, right? It launched its beta on console, and I think it's because it's an arena shooter. I think console players just kind of really naturally gravitated toward it, right? You know what I mean? That's what happened. When the beta hit the consoles and everybody downloaded and played it, it crashed their servers because they were only built to scale to 64,000 players or something. They had to reach out to AWS, like Amazon Web Solutions. They're like, what's going on? And they're like, well, yeah, these servers are 64,000 limited or whatever. And so they had to scale and come up with technology, add more servers. So when one server fills, you more seamlessly get bumped to another. Yeah, you were playing on Steam. I don't think it hooked the PC crowds that much. I think arena shooters like Halo and Splitgate, I think they land better on console players. I think they do. Mainly because of the aim assist and, also because of how they... mainly because of the aim assist, but also just because of how the game flow is. Doesn't feel like a quick twitch shooter, Doesn't feel like a quick twitch shooter. It'd be amazing if a website that promoted that, like Hot Girls and Boys, was literally just people sitting in a sauna. And they're like, what? It's truth in advertising. They're just sitting here and they're hot. They're all wearing winter clothing and they're very uncomfortable and grouchy. Like, that's all the website would be. All the lawsuits Nintendo is facing over Joy-Con drift. Oh, so they're facing one too. Yeah, I mean, these companies are knowingly selling products that are flawed, and they're getting sued for it. You know what I mean? Why'd you delete that? I was interested. Yeah, sorry. Be sure to go to SNTRgaming.com for an amazing gaming podcast. If you guys are new and just tuning in, this morning we've been discussing the Call of Duty Vanguard beta, why I think it was a mistake. We will also be discussing the Spider-Man 2 co-op information, as well as the Wolverine game rating, the rating that it's going to be receiving, and what we want to see from that. If you have thoughts and opinions about those things, weigh in the chat, take our poll at the top. What do you think of Call of Duty Vanguard beta, if you've seen it in action, if you've seen gameplay? You know, is it average? Is it good? Average is winning, which isn't surprising. I've reset the question and comment queue for those that like to have their comment or question featured on the screen. Every controller will get drift as use continues. It's about build quality and how much investment the company puts in the materials design involved. Microsoft just needs to step up quality big time. Is that true, though? Like, is stick drift inevitable? Like, why did I not get stick drift with older controllers? Like, that's what I don't understand. Or did I just not notice it, you know? Did I just not notice it? Pretty sure all controllers currently use the same stick modules. I want to know what changed then, because I was using controllers for ages, and I never got stick drift until I bought the first Elite. I bought the first Elite, used it daily, just like other controllers, and that was the first time I started experiencing stick drift. All three companies use the same stick module now. That's the issue. So they're all suffering from drift. They're all being sued. Unbelievable. That's unbelievable. Supposedly, Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo all get them from the same people. They all use the same ones. Most of the components are built by the suppliers. Right. I've had my Elite version 1 for about a year now, and I play daily for a few hours, no drift or sticky buttons. That's the other question I have. Why do some people never get it? It doesn't make any sense. I have Xbox controllers, a red one and a teal one we bought from Target years ago. I play with them. My kids play with them. No drift. Why? Why do some controllers get absolutely none? And then others, it's like, I've had this for 6 months and it's already drifting. What in the world? I play like an adult. Like, I play gently. I'm not rough. I'm not dropping it, throwing it, right? I'm not eating Cheetos and using it. Yeah, it doesn't have Dorito dust inside of it. 6 months in, drift. But then other controllers go for what seems like for forever. I don't understand it. Poor quality control. Some pass inspection, others don't, but they're sold anyway. Never had drift issues on any controller. It's so random, Eugene. Like, if you looked at my controllers, if I set them out and I asked you, which ones do you think have drift, you'd guess wrong if I hadn't have just told you how it worked. You'd guess wrong. You'd see 2 Elites, an Elite version 2. You'd see the controller by Series X shipped with, and then you'd see the red and the teal one from Target. And almost everybody would be like, oh, the red and the teal one probably are the worst. They just look cheap, right? They don't look official. No, they are official. They're Microsoft. I mean, they're just colored from Target. You'd guess wrong. You'd look at the real expensive ones and think, well, surely those ones are fine. I've always had bad luck with the white Xbox controllers. Huh. I wonder if part of the issue is how some people play versus others. Personally, I have yet to get stick drift, and I still have the Xbox controllers from my original Xbox One. It can't be that, Patrick, because like I said, in my house, it makes no sense. My children play with the red and the teal one. They play Immortals Phoenix Rising. They've played Overcooked with me. Pokemon. Well, not Pokemon, sorry. No. What was the one we played all together? I can't think of it now. Shoot. It just left my brain. I don't know. Some level of drift is normal. I think a lot of it's the size of the dead zone in a given game. My 360 controllers were fine. PS4 and PS5 shooters are hit or miss. Maybe some designs allow more dust and dirt to enter under the stick. Compromises the contacts. I don't know. The heaviness of your thumbs caused the drift. What? No! That's not what it is. It's honestly a luck on the draw with parts. Sometimes things pass inspection, but then immediately fail after shipping. But they would never know it's failed after passing testing. I'm on controller 3 for my PS5 due to drift. Right, and I have a white one out of the box with the PS5 and a black one. No drift. None at all. And I played a lot. I mean, I've played the entire game of Ghost of Tsushima. Every square inch, every question mark, everything. And then I played the director's cut. I played Cyberpunk on there. AC Valhalla on there. I beat Ratchet and Clank. No stick drift. None at all. It's got to be complete and utter luck of the draw on it's got to be a quality control thing. Has to be. You know? Has to be. Stutzo says, X-Men Origins Wolverine was pretty good on the 360. It was fairly gruesome and had decent combat. How far do you think they should take Wolverine into the M rating? We're clearly drifting from the Call of Duty subject, and that's totally fine. That was a solid 2-hour discussion. Make sure and vote on the poll. We may do another one here in a second. Call of Duty Vanguard beta, thoughts just from watching. I'm going to take a brief break to use the restroom. When I come back, we're going to be looking at Spider-Man co-op info and the Wolverine game rating. I'll give you what I think on those. I've got some opinion as well as news for you on those subjects. Feel free to submit questions or comments on those topics, or come up with a good poll idea. What should we do on Spider-Man? I got one for Spider-Man, I think. Does co-op belong in that game? All right? I'll be right back. If you guys are enjoying the show, hit the subscribe button, the bell button, smash that like button, and stick around because we're talking Spider-Man 2 co-op info and the Wolverine game rating. There we go. You guys like that? How I have a little ad that can roll when I walk away? It's good. It's good. It's a good little thing. Good little bit. Good little sample. Let's see here. Guys, we haven't sold any Rageless Roast today, so let's do a little Rageless Roast spot. Let's at least let folks know about it. We did launch a dark roast. We got the light roast, and that's backwards. We got the light roast and the dark roast. Light roast and the dark roast. You can use the coffee command or go to ragelessroast.com. You're supporting me and my family directly when you buy this. We ship it right from our house. The kiddos put little drawings in the shipping bags. The flavor is a medium-bodied, honey undertone, smooth finish with balanced acidity. The balanced acidity is the key. That's why it's so drinkable. People in chat will tell you it's so good. It's good with creamer. It's good black. It's good as a cold brew. And then the dark roast is the same flavor, okay? Same flavor, but it's full-bodied with a bold finish, but it still has the balanced acidity. A lot of people buy a bag of light and a bag of dark so that they can sample both. I've been telling people to get 3 because the shipping doesn't change when you go up from 2 to 3, and then you can give a bag to a friend, and if they like it, tell them to go to ragelessroast.com and order from there, because people are going to try it and they'll get hooked, because my wife and I do not almost ever agree on coffee flavors, and we agree on Rageless Roast. So, just needed it coming up next. Feels like a TV show. You the GOAT. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Dark roast is the bomb. Yeah, a lot of people have preferred the dark roast, but the light roast is just so excellent. It's so smooth. Very, very good. This is my daily endorsement for both roasts. 10 out of 10 would recommend. Thank you. It depends on the game. This game, for instance, wears the sticks from constantly pressing them in to activate sprint. You only have to click it once. I mean, I'm a stick clicker. I'll admit that, but I don't think that's why I get stick drift. Dying Light 2 had the release day this Christmas as promised, and now they delay it to February, and now it feels like Cyberpunk, and now I'm not getting it. I mean, I try, not that you should listen to me, like, oh, you should have listened to me, but like, I try to tell people, I said, anything slated for December, that's a precarious launch date, my friend. That's precarious. You know what I'm saying? That ain't happening. It got more unlikely as time went on. Every time they talked, right? Every time they talked, it was like, yeah, we've got it. We're on track. We're on track. It was like, do you believe that? Do you believe that? You ever talk to somebody like, it sounds like they're trying to convince you? The Spider-Man 2 trailer has 10 million views. Holy moly. That is insane. That is just that is Spider-Man just pulls. Spider-Man pulls, man. Absolutely pulls. All right, so we've got Spider-Man 2 co-op info, and then I'm going to talk to you about why I don't think it should have co-op. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a poll, right? We're going to do a new one. We got an end one. There we go. Spider-Man 2. Should it have co-op? Right? Yes or no? I'm just curious. I am of the opinion that no, it should not. Spider-Man 2, should it have co-op? I want to see what you guys think. We did a poll about the Call of Duty Vanguard beta, and now I want to hear what you think about the Spider-Man 2 co-op. And then if you've got questions, comments about that, use that question command so when I'm done with this, we can talk it up. All right? Hey, thanks for watching another SNTR update. This is going to be about the Spider-Man 2 co-op info, and I'm also going to take up the position that I don't think co-op should be in this game. If you like these short video game update videos, be sure to hit the subscribe and the bell button, as well as the like button. There should be a link below to SNTR Gaming where I live stream as well. A report came from Dark Horizons quoting the game head of the franchise strategy and studio relations, Ryan Schneider. So, franchise strategy. That's tough to say. Ryan Schneider went into more detail about the game on PlayStation Blog, and here's what he had to say. We are thrilled to continue the journey of both Peter Parker and Miles Morales in their most epic single-player adventure yet. While pushing the capabilities of the console will be very exciting, we're equally pumped to craft the all-new stories for Peter and Miles in the sequel. There's two things of note in this statement. Number one, calling it a single-player game doesn't rule out co-op, but then he follows it up by talking about pushing the capabilities of the console. So if there is any sense of co-op in this game, I know it won't be split screen. And also, I think it's incredibly unlikely that they do co-op, and I want to talk about why it shouldn't be in this game. First, I want to talk about why co-op is a good thing in the right games. Co-op would not fit in a game like this because, in my experience with similar titles, even a co-op AI becomes a nuisance and it pushes against the hero action identity of the game. You're the hero. The hero action is important. The sense of being the hero is pivotal, and it gets drowned out a little bit when you're clumsily interacting with a co-op AI. They were great sequences with Batman and Catwoman fighting together and swapping between the two. I could play as one, swap to the other, do combos, and that felt awesome. I think you could have that element of co-op in this game where you're doing one and then all of a sudden you can switch to Miles and so forth. I could see great back and forth between Miles and Peter, orchestrating that alongside of mission swapping, similar to what they did in Ratchet and Clank. There's going to be times where you got to play as Miles, times where you got to play as Peter. I have a theory there's going to be a significant portion of the game where you're playing as Miles, and you might have to fight Peter if he gets infected with the symbiote, and you got to save him, right? Now, I could see co-op fit in this game. I don't think it belongs, but here's how I think it could fit if they decided to do it. I could see side missions, challenges, or even some form of DLC that would allow two people to each take Miles, one take Peter, and go through co-op oriented content. That's the key. It has to be built for co-op. I don't think they could build an entire Spider-Man game built for co-op. Usually co-op is thrown into games that are built for a single player, and then you kind of throw in an extra person, and these games don't really work that way. You could maybe do a full map adventure mode that allows you to invite a buddy to play as Miles or Peter, and you just do open world stuff rather than the main story. That's another possibility of how they could do it. Even a completely separate game built from the ground up for co-op would be cool, like a $30 or $40 game like they did with Miles. They could do like a follow-up release that's $30 or $40 and it's built from the ground up for co-op. I don't like the idea of a single-player game having awkward co-op tacked onto it, especially when it's a sequel to such a successful and award-winning single-player game. Lastly, why do I love co-op? I'm saying I don't want it in here, and yet I love it. I love co-op for a variety of reasons. Playing with your friends, your wife, your buddies, it really is fun, and it's one of my favorite video game memories. But I also love single-player games like Spider-Man and Batman, and I can't see a place for co-op when I play through them. Co-op flourishes the best in games where it fits and where space is made for it. Strong single-player action-adventure games just aren't the right venue for co-op gameplay. If you like these short video game news updates, be sure to hit subscribe and the bell button, and I'll see you in the next one. So there you go. There's my thoughts. I don't know what you guys think.
If you guys are enjoying the show, hit the subscribe
How are
button,
you
the bell
voting?
button, smash that like
you're voting
button, and
no.
stick around,
You're being
'cause
sort
we're
of
talking
swayed. If
Spider-Man
you haven't
2
voted, be
co-op
sure to
info
vote. There's a
and
lot
the
of people here.
Wolverine
We've only got
game
72
rating.
votes. If you're lurking and can hear me, if you're still in chat, cast your vote on the top there. I think Insomniac has the pedigree where I trust their decision until it backfires. Yeah, I trust them with Spider-Man 2. It's related to my other topic today on Wolverine. I trust them with Wolverine, but like I look at Spider-Man and I look at how it played and I'm like, no, you can't do that. I don't think you can bring this co-op, right? Two Lonos? I pressed the Stream Deck button, didn't I? Oh! We came to this scene, and that thing automatically turned on because I switched scenes. Is that like a thing? That shouldn't have happened. Oh, I know why it happened. I didn't bump the button. Sorry. I toggled it when I walked away, and when I came back, it was toggled but done playing. So I left the scene, I came back to the scene, and since it had been toggled, it immediately started playing. Okay, I gotta remember that thing needs to be off when it's done, because it'll play it as soon as I come back to this scene. Okay, that's good. I need to remember that. Sorry about that, guys. You're like, holy crap, we're getting double Lono. I was like, oh no, what's happening? Am I having a break? Is my my mixer breaking again? I think they absolutely could nail a co-op experience, but why try? The formula and how they have it is perfect. Don't mess with a good thing. That's exactly right. Like anybody who played anybody who played the first Spider-Man is going to have that sense of like, why'd you fiddle with this, right? Why would you fiddle with this? Why would you mess with the formula that we all fell in love with? We all fell in love with your game. We all decided that we wanted to play it, you know. You did it because you wanted 2 players in Spider-Man? Oh, yeah, that's why I did it. Yeah, I was showing you why co-op wouldn't work in Spider-Man. It was a real world example of what it looks like in a co-op game when you kind of step on each other's toes and get in each other's way. I gave you an auditory example of what that looks like. Yes, that was intentional. Well, that's how we're gonna chalk that up as I did that on purpose. That's right. That is right. Okay. The Wolverine game over Spider-Man will get me to buy a PS5. We've had a lot of people say that. I've had some people in here say, like, I didn't want a PS5 until I saw that Wolverine trailer. Like, they haven't even seen gameplay yet, and it has them interested, you know? Miles is the fourth best selling game in the last 12 months. They aren't changing the formula. Yeah, I tend to agree with that. Because you got to think, whenever they started building the next one, they probably just started building on a lot of what was already there. You know what I mean? What if the co-op is optional? I think it has potential. They could use combat synergies, for example. Well, okay, sure, but you have to understand something. I don't want development time spent on something that won't be excellent or good. If it's half-cocked, half-baked, you know, kind of janky, like I don't want that as a blemish on the release. It's not worth doing if it's not done excellently, because Spider-Man and Miles Morales are both games that I feel are excellent. No, there wouldn't be any co-op in Wolverine. That wouldn't make any sense. With Insomniac's track record, I'd trust them with making a co-op Spider-Man, but yeah, it's not worth it. That would be like looking at Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart and being like, oh, there would have been so many opportunities for co-op, one person playing as Rivet and one person playing as Ratchet. And I gotta tell you, a split-screen Ratchet and Clank with my wife would have been a blast. But I gotta tell you, I just don't think it would have fit. That's not how they build the game. They'd have to basically build a side game, a new game, which I think that could be pretty dope. Like a Ratchet and Clank expansion that's like $30 or $40, and it's almost like a second game where you play through co-op. But you got to worry then, because like demand will be lower for that. If people are like, well, if it's only co-op, yeah, I don't want to do that. As long as it isn't the Batmobile and Arkham Knight type of scenario. See, you know what's funny, Last Paladin? I liked the Batmobile in the Arkham Knight. I thought they needed it. They needed an innovation. They needed something that was iconically Batman to enter the stage, and I thought they did a good job with it. There was only one mission that was terrible, like the sneaky combat mission. Everything else they did with the Batmobile, I thoroughly enjoyed in the Arkham Knight. I was one of the few people that couldn't believe people were complaining about it. Now, when I played that one mission and it was really frustrating, I was like, okay, I get it. Okay, I understand now why people did not like the Batmobile in Batman the Arkham Knight. Like, it made sense. You know? Master Ty says, I think a co-op designed mode like you got in Legends would be fun for Spider-Man. What do you think? I don't know what you mean by Legends. A co-op designed mode like in got Legends? Oh, like in Ghost of Tsushima Legends. Sorry. Because it's all caps, I didn't catch what you were doing. Okay, let me think through here. A co-op mode like Legends and Ghost of Tsushima for Spider-Man. I mean, I kind of said that. I said, what about an open world adventure mode where you could like go around on the map and stop crime together? What you're saying could be similar, but maybe a little bit more compartmentalized and contained, where you could call it like, you know, I don't even know what you would call it. Like, I'm thinking of like warehouse warehouse throwdown. Like, you find these warehouses that are outfitted with a bunch of goons that are in hiding because because you're doing a good job, but you got to clear out these warehouses, and these waves of goons just come, and you're fighting them, and you're fighting them, and you're fighting them. I could see that. I could see that being a really, really good co-op mode. I mean, I ended the video by saying, like, there's certainly things they could do that would be co-op, but I don't think the main game or the main story should have co-op in it. I would worry, again, that it would be a tack on, it wouldn't be done excellently, it would be a blemish. You don't want to mess with the formula. They did what was seemingly impossible. They made a good Spider-Man game. They were entrusted with the single most popular superhero in the world. Like, why do you think the Spider-Man trailer has 10 million views? Because it's Spider-Man, right? They were trusted with the biggest superhero in the business, and they nailed it. And if they wouldn't have nailed it, here's the thing about a Spider-Man game. You either nail it or you don't. I don't think there was a lot of in between. Because if they wouldn't have nailed it, people would be like, it's bad. It doesn't feel like Spidey. Swinging through the city's kind of lame. The fighting's kind of lame. No, they nailed almost every aspect of it. From the writing, to the banter, to the movement, to the different fighting things you get to upgrade, to the swinging through the city. It was like, they got everything right. And they needed to, because if they wouldn't have gotten everything right, then people would have been like, it's not a very good Spider-Man game. It's a mediocre Spider-Man game. I think mediocrity would have been more easily detected in a game like this. They'd have been like, it's not, it's all right. So given that they pulled that off, I don't know if you fiddle with the formula, I think that's the right way of phrasing it. Some of the guys in chat, Eugene and others, that are saying, yeah, they're not going to mess with the formula. At the end of the day, having played all of Insomniac's recent games, I'm not worried about any game they release. Same. Sony locking up Insomniac was a brilliant gamble, paid off and then some. Oh yeah. Vengeance says, I lean more toward co-op. My brother and I wanted so bad to play Arkham Knight co-op. We wanted to try and work together and communicate to get through things together. Well, and it would have worked if it was built for it. Like, if you don't build the game for co-op, then I'm just testing something here. It looked like the video messed up, but it didn't. If you don't build the game for co-op, then it's not going to work. You're going to get in each other's way. You're going to step on each other's toes. In those games how you're working on something, right? You're working on getting the combo up. You're working your way to the corner so you can grab the thing, to throw the thing, to slam the thing, to get that done, to hit that guy. Spider-Man's the same way. I am an orchestra, I'm a conductor in an orchestra. I'm like, okay, and now this, and now this, and now I'm going to pull this guy in, and now I'm going to hit that guy, and I'm getting that guy next. On that guy up there with the rocket launcher, I got to go get him. I do the same thing in Ghost of Tsushima, right? You're a conductor. You're looking at everything in front of you, and you're forming your own sonnet. Right? You're orchestrating it all. And I gotta feel like I wouldn't want to play through Ghost of Tsushima's story with that going on. Like, when you're playing through Legends, it's different. It's a mode. You're in it together. You're teaming up against really, really strong guys. So it makes sense. Outside of that, it's like I wouldn't want somebody else doing that. People are like, well, you wouldn't have to. Okay, but the people that do are gonna feel the rough edges of what I'm talking about, and then it'll all be for naught. Spider-Man 2 co-op doesn't land the way we hoped it would. That'd be like the headline. All the reviewers and YouTubers would fixate on how the co-op wasn't any good, and then the greatness of the game would get overshadowed. It would have this blemish on it, like, well, the game's amazing, but co-op is just so disappointing. We were all looking forward to co-op. It was a huge feature that wasn't there before. We were really excited. And then that would end up being the headlines, right? Can you bring me my water? I left my water in the kitchen. You know. Somebody's asking me, how would you feel about Naughty Dog remastering or remaking Jak and Daxter? I don't have an opinion on that. I've never played those games, right? A lot of those older games or PlayStation games, I never touched them. You know, they weren't my thing. Give us some type of co-op, even if it's extra separate from the main story. I tell you what, I would say would be their best strategy of doing it, Tommy. If they've got somebody at the company pulling for co-op and they have a department that gets the green light, right? They get the green light to do it. Okay? If they do, then I would tell them we're going to stagger this, right? We're going to stagger this. We're going to stagger this and release this later. We're not going to put this in the there's a pinch. We're going to stagger this and release this later. We don't want this to be in the main course. We don't want it to detract from the reviews or be a distraction. We'll release this later as a mode, like they did with Ghost of Tsushima Legends. Like if Ghost of Tsushima Legends would have landed and wasn't that good, or maybe it was a little buggy, or maybe the community didn't respond well to it, it wouldn't be as big of a deal because it wouldn't have been in the initial offering. So it wouldn't have clouded the reviews. I mostly wanted to play as Nightwing more than one DLC mission. It was pretty fun playing as Nightwing. Yeah, I liked playing as Nightwing and doing combos with Batman. That was enjoyable. I enjoyed that, yes. So for me, that's where I land on Spider-Man co-op. Is if you're going to do it later. It should be its own thing. I can certainly see a place for it because you got Miles and you got Peter, working together. I can see it. But I don't want it to detract from the main offering. And that's just because I like the game so much. Like, I want it to do really, really, really well. I want it to do really, really well. So, you guys are taking the poll. You're very split on this. Not a lot of people have taken the poll. If you haven't voted yet, go ahead and cast your vote. We got a lot of lurkers who haven't voted yet. Make sure and weigh in. Do you think it should have co-op? And now we've got another thing I want to talk to you about, which is Wolverine's rating, right? Wolverine's rating, and what kind of game do I think Wolverine should be? What should they aim for in tone and in combat? And we've got something from Game Informer on it. Before I get into my opinion, we've got a little thing from Game Informer about it, all right? Hey, thanks for watching another SNTR update. This one's going to be about the Wolverine game rating and what they have said about it. And I'm also going to talk about what I want to see from this game. If you like these short video game update videos, be sure to hit subscribe and the bell button, as well as the like button, and check below for links to where I live stream over on SNTR Gaming. Game Informer reported on this. Wolverine's creative director, Brian Horton, took to Twitter to announce his role on the project, okay? And he's also speaking about the tone of the game and the game's, size. He says, he previously directed Spider-Man Miles Morales, so we got somebody good at the helm here. That's another great Insomniac title, all right? And it prompted fans to ask if the Wolverine scope was similar in size or something bigger. Horton responded by saying that Wolverine will be, quote, full-size, mature tone. He doesn't elaborate beyond that, but I'm sure fans will breathe easier given some of the online worries about Wolverine not being mature enough. Now, the mature tone doesn't necessarily mean it'll be M-rated. I think that does mean that. I think he used that word intentionally. I don't think a creative director would throw out the word mature haphazardly, because that's a major concern. First, I want to talk about why it matters. In order to get a superhero right, we all know the rating and the content are extremely important. Anyone who saw Logan, the movie, they know just how much further they can take the character if violence and the mood and the feeling and the setting of the movie is in an R mature rating. Like, that lets them do a lot more with a character who is visceral and angry and violent. I don't want gratuitous violence. We don't need to be going over the top. It doesn't need to be like Kill Bill. Kill Bill did things stylistically with blood and violence. That is something that obviously comes from Quentin Tarantino's mind. We don't need to go to that level of exaggeration and gratuitous level, but I do think violence is fitting for the DNA and the identity of a character like Wolverine, okay? Even the tone of the trailer, it's gritty, it's brooding, it's dark. Everybody's been beat up, and some guy's about to get sliced up. There's blood on Wolvie's knuckles. Like, I really think it looks like it's going to hit the exact tone that we want. And that's why I want to talk about, what do I want? I said it this way: please just give me Days Gone and God of War mixed in a blender. I think that we would get an amazing game if they get the voice acting and story right. That's what I want it to feel like. That's the ultimate vision I have for this game. Visceral, over-the-shoulder, intense combat with upgradable moves, healing, combos, etc. And then give me that motorcycle. You can't have Wolverine walking everywhere, right? God of War, he walks everywhere, but then he gets the boat, right? You got to travel great distances. You can't have this big hulking guy or this strong guy just kind of strutting around. I think a motorcycle would be in line with the character and the story and things that he does in the comics, but also a great way to have a large, space that you're traveling in. Something about traversal for a character like Wolverine needs a bike, right? I don't need big jumps, running, or climbing like that. That he can do those things, but that needs to take a back seat to something like a motorcycle. Lastly, I want to talk about why I trust Insomniac. After both Spider-Man, Miles Morales, and Ratchet & Clank, I trust Insomniac with just about any game, especially a superhero game. Creating superhero games is a tall order, especially with one that is arguably the biggest IP and known character globally, Spider-Man. They nailed it. Their ability to pull off that game and feature a whole new Spider-Man game with Miles that had its own tone and setting and combat and feel tells me they can pull this off. I actually think Miles Morales gives me more confidence in their ability here because it did stand on its own after such a successful launch of the franchise with the first Spider-Man. If you like these short gaming update videos, be sure to hit subscribe and the bell button, and I'll see you in the next one. And there you go. There you go. That's the wrong button. There we go. And you shouldn't be getting double Lono now. You shouldn't be getting double Lono. I also think they're going to go for a more narrative type game rather than an open world like Last of Us or something, for better or for worse. I mean, it's hard to know, right? Because it is Wolverine, and he's very broody, he's very dark, he's usually very, alone and sad and, kind of out on his own, like nobody's really with him. You know what I mean? Open world Wolverine doesn't make sense in my mind. It needs more of a dramatic cinematic experience, not map clearing. I don't know. I could see room for both. Eugene, because if he gets sucked into a storyline where he's trying to rescue somebody, I think what they're going to... If you really want to set up Wolverine in a good spot, he's rescuing a woman or a young girl, and he would have to go into different places and get information, different hideouts, tracking down little low-level drug runners to try to get to the big players. Like, there's all kind of different ways you could play it. Without feeling like it's just some open world game where I'm running and fetching and bountying. I could definitely see that being very sort of, this isn't Wolverine, But if you set it up right, him on a motorcycle, trying to get information, trying to track down this person, I think that would work. It needs to be more of a God of War style cinematic experience than Spider-Man. But God of War still had an open world feel and a completionist feel. You could travel and scope out areas and take the boat and go to different areas. I don't think it needs to feel like Spider-Man, no. I think it needs to be a mix between what you did in Days Gone and what you did in God of War, like somewhere in between, right? Where I'm taking his motorcycle to get to places, but it's not some open world map clearer. Do you know what I mean? Wolvie ain't the type of character to hop around helping NPCs. No, but if he's trying to get information, you know, maybe he's chasing down clues, he's chasing down bums and druggies and guys that can give him info, and he's got to beat him up, rough him up, and get the info, you know? Days Gone had a dramatic and serious tone, and it worked in an open world. I tend to think and agree that what they did in God of War is more fitting for how you're going to tell the story in Wolverine. I think I agree with that. Like, the Wolverine game not feeling like an open world map clearer, I would be okay with that. Being more linear story driven like God of War, I'm fine with. But God of War still had big open areas, it had the boat, it had a sense of freedom and exploration, it had a sense of low-level map clearing. It wasn't exhaustive, but there was low-level map clearing and puzzles and things to do. Yeah. I would say you could do that. You could land it in that space. So, if you didn't notice, we did bring back the little micro news segments today. We hadn't done them in a couple of days, and we think that they're really, really valuable, and we hope that you guys enjoy them. And if you like them, or maybe you're not here for them all the time, you can always come back and use the timestamps, or you can go support the updates channel, whichever's easiest for you. The over 40 market with the most spare cash don't count in your marketing. Well, I know who I don't want running my company. You? What are you talking about? What are you guys even debating? 40 LOL, mature games are 17 plus. You're telling me you got as many 4 to 60 year olds loving Marvel games more than COD games? I don't think so. What are you guys debating? Plenty of adults enjoy superheroes. Difference with Call of Duty is it's aimed at mature players. Far less adults enjoy these superheroes. Wait, so your position, Ferryman, is that less adults enjoy the superheroes? Ferry was saying Wolvie will sell less if it's M. Oh, I disagree. I think it'll sell more. The Deadpool movies, the Deadpool sequel is in the room and having a wry chuckle. I think that it is going to sell more with the mature rating. The mature rating has not been a barrier for almost any game. I mean, what isn't GTA like one of the most popular games in the world, one of the most profitable games in the world, and it's mature? I don't think a mature rating is a barrier for the video game purchasing populace. I don't. I think a Wolverine launching with a teen rating would be a barrier. People are like, what the frick? It's not even mature. Like, I think that would be a problem. It's the second best-selling game of all time. Right, like, second best-selling game of all time is a mature rating. Like, if that proves anything, a mature rating is not a barrier for sales. Like, customers don't they don't care. You know, I'm not slamming parents. Parents don't check that crap, man. They should, but they don't. Yes, more adults will buy Call of Duty than any superhero game, which is why making superhero games mature is a bad idea. That's a non sequitur, homie. Those aren't logically connected. Those are not logically connected. Call of Duty's sales figures has nothing to do with a mature rating being a barrier for Wolverine. So in your mind, Wolverine being a superhero game appeals to a younger audience and therefore won't sell as well because of the mature rating. I don't think they're logically connected, especially like if Murph Dog is right, and he's probably right, a third of the GTA players are under 17. A third. Not to mention, I actually think average game age is like, what, 28? The average age of gamers is 28. Right? So, and the Marvel movie going populace is young and old. It's very mixed. Why? I'm 39, and I grew up watching the Uncanny X-Men and loving Marvel and looking forward to the Marvel movies. Like, the 10 years of the Marvel movies appealed to me more than kids, I think. Demographically, those movies, from the introduction of Tony Stark to Endgame, I think I was the majority. Dudes in their late 20s and 30s were the majority, I think. I could be wrong. I know children and families made up a massive amount of the audience of the Marvel movies, but I'm telling you right now, upper 20s and up we are massive in the purchasing gaming populace. We are the majority. The average age of gamers is like 28. That means there's way more people over 17 than under. Now, the Fortnite crowd and the Call of Duty crowd is huge, but I don't think the target audience that bought Spider-Man, Miles, and will buy Wolvie, I don't think it's a bunch of kids. The MCU being the most popular film franchise in the world now isn't because of all the kids. Yeah, I don't think so. All kids love superheroes, so if it's 15 rated, then you'll get a lot more buyers than if you make it over 18. No. I think there's too much evidence against your premise. Your premise is that a mature rating is a barrier for children under 17, and I'm here to tell you it's not a barrier. Families and mothers and grandmothers and moms and dads will see Wolverine, they'll see Marvel, and they'll buy it. You know what I mean? Call of Duty is rated mature and it sells more games than anything else every year. Is Call of Duty rated mature? I thought it was rated teen. No, wait, it is. It is mature, isn't it? Yeah, didn't you just refer to Call of Duty as proof positive of your position? Well, your argument has been undone then, hasn't it? Call of Duty Warzone rating. Where's the rating? Where do they put that? Would it be an age rating? What do they refer to that? I'm putting rating and I'm getting it's Peggy 18. Warzone is rated Peggy 18 due to depictions of graphic violence towards human characters. So I think Call of Duty is aimed at adults, not children. I'm having a I'm really having a hard time tracking with your logic. I really, really am. So you think Call of Duty is marketed to adults? I'm assuming you think the same thing about Grand Theft Auto. But then you think that Wolverine, because he's a superhero, he's marketed to children. I don't think so. I think you're making too many assumptions about games whose communities are full of children. Grand Theft Auto and Call of Duty. Massive. Yeah, I'm sorry, it's the ESRB rating. Yeah, I should have put that in there. I think the Call of Duty community age demographic has tons of children in it. Same with GTA. I think that the target audience for Spider-Man, Miles, and even Wolverine, I don't think it's children. I don't think so. The Spider-Man was kind of hard, honestly. I think it was kind of a challenging game. The combat was kind of tough. Wolverine, the character who kills people with claws coming out of his knuckles. Yeah, he's visceral. I don't know. You think me as a 40-year-old man wants a purple unicorn outfit and confetti spraying from people that I kill? That's marketing to me? Yeah, I don't think Call of Duty markets purely to adults. I really don't think so. I want you to think about, somebody just this morning said that the reason our audience was gravitating towards arenas and away from BR is because our audience was older. Well, I mean, what do you think Warzone appeals to then? Was that person wrong? I think that person was right. I think our audience leaning towards arenas is because we're older, and that's kind of where we come from.
And because we come from there, we prefer arenas. So Call of Duty Warzone demographically is going to appeal more to a younger audience because it's a battle royale. Excuse me. It's going to appeal to a younger audience because it's a battle royale, and that generation has embraced the battle royale. Older generation doesn't necessarily like battle royales as evenly. Marvel is aimed at children and young adults. Disagree with the premise. Doesn't mean adults won't buy it. Call of Duty's aimed at adults. Doesn't mean children won't play it. Yeah, I think your premise is just inherently flawed. I think it's super, super flawed. The Marvel movies are not aimed at children and young adults. The Marvel movies are literally so successful because they're cross-generational. 39-year-olds, 40-year-olds, 50-year-olds were flocking to the theater to see those movies. That's why they're so successful, because they're cross-generational. There's a reason that Pixar movies have adult-level humor in them, stuff that you only get as an adult. Why? It makes them cross-generationally relevant. You take your kids to it, and you enjoy it as well. Like, Wolverine as a superhero, Logan as a movie was really successful, wasn't it? Logan movie revenue. How did it do? $619 million on a budget of about $120 million. $619 million. All right. So what did Avengers Endgame movie revenue? $2.8 billion. Okay, so it pulled a fourth of Avengers Endgame. That's pretty good, because Avengers Endgame is like is just an absolute powerhouse, right? Let's compare it to a single movie. Thor Ragnarok movie revenue, $854 million. So Logan is like tracking behind Thor Ragnarok. I don't think so. I really don't. I like Logan as a movie, Wolverine as a character. They targeted an older audience. Deadpool is a great example. Deadpool 2 movie revenue. $784 million. So Deadpool $784 million, Thor Ragnarok is in the 800 millions, and Logan's in the 600 millions. They're all within the same hemisphere of success, and Deadpool and Logan rated R. Visceral and violent. Just absolute, you would never show that. I wouldn't show it to a young kid. I don't think so. I think your premise is extremely flawed. The rough movies did almost as well. They did do less. You have to admit that. You're gonna have to admit that, like, Logan and Deadpool did less commercially because of the rating. Moms and dads weren't flocking to the theater with little Billy and Susie to watch Deadpool and Logan. Sure, but it didn't affect their success at all. They did great. $620 million on a budget of $120. That's great. That's amazing. That's a really good margin on that. Wolverine, Batman, Spider-Man are the characters that are so popular their movies would make a minimum $500 million regardless of the rating. Yeah, that's the thing I think that you're missing, is they're so cross-generationally popular, the rating doesn't matter. Deadpool, best superhero film, also sold pretty bad compared to others. No, I just compared it to Thor Ragnarok, and it was right behind Thor Ragnarok. No, I just looked at it. What are you talking about? The first Deadpool, yes. Deadpool 2 did better, didn't it? Deadpool movie revenue. I think Deadpool 2 did better. No, Deadpool movie, $783 million worldwide. And then Deadpool 2, $784 million. I don't know. Iron Man 3, $1.2 billion. Holy crap, Iron Man just pulls. He pulls. Captain America, Winter Soldier. 714 million according worldwide. 714 million. So Winter Soldier did, according to this, Winter Soldier may have done less than Deadpool 2? Winter Soldier may have done less? Thor Ragnarok was a bad film? Was the Winter Soldier also a bad film? In the 700 millions? What are you saying? What are you saying? Look at Captain America First Avenger. All right, yeah, let's look at that one. Captain America First Avenger. 370 million. 370 million. It took a while, right? It built. It built. It didn't even break 400 million. That's right. That's right. It took time to build. Can I call this take laughable? It depends. It depends, Eugene. Sometimes it's okay. Like when someone's passionately debating like we were and you do it, I didn't appreciate it. In this case, I don't know. I try not to because I thought about that yesterday. Like I've done that. I'm like, help me, Wheeze. Help me, Eugene. And we're laughing. And I'm like, oh, I'm kind of guilty of that sometimes too. I don't want to do that. But when you say Thor Ragnarok was a bad film, I can't help but laugh. Thor Ragnarok was aimed at younger people than me, clearly. How old are you? 92? Like, what are you even talking about? Yeah, Ragnarok pulled like 700 something, didn't it? Thor Ragnarok. Oh no, Thor Ragnarok pulled 854 million. I don't know. How's that bad? What are you talking about? That's nipping at the heels of Iron Man at 1.2 billion. 854 million. That's incredible. It's the highest grossing film of the trilogy. It's the highest of Thor. And then the Endgame was insane. What did Avengers Infinity War, what did it do? 2 billion. Oh my gosh. Infinity War and Endgame were just powerhouses, man. 2 billion. Just unbelievable. The first 2 Thor movies were trash. First one was okay. Dark World was pretty rough. It's true. It's true. Thor Ragnarok turned Thor into I think one of the most likable characters in the franchise. He's so good. Oh my gosh, he's so good. From that point on, I love him. I absolutely love him. I think the point is, though, Ferryman, you can't point at anything to definitively to make your case then. If Deadpool 2 and Logan are step in step with some of the more successful Avengers movies, you've lost. You've lost the debate. At an objective level, you've lost the debate. The mature rating wasn't a barrier to Logan's success or Deadpool 2's success or Deadpool 1's success. They were commercially successful. Massive money. To turn around, I think the inverse is true. If you would have turned around and made Logan PG-13 or Deadpool PG-13, they'd have sold less. Fans of those characters have been like, this is going to be so, just soft. I don't want to watch a PG-13 Deadpool. I don't want to watch a PG-13 Logan. I'm tired of Logan being all lame. They wouldn't have done as well. So I don't think there's any evidence to see that, a mature rating is going to affect sales because it's targeted to children. If you think that Wolverine trailer is targeted to children, I don't know what you're talking about. I thought it was going to be like The Punisher or Deadpool. It was grisly, rough, a bar, just blood on his knuckles. Dudes everywhere have just been laid out. That's not marketed to kids. What no. He's got a drink in his hand, man. He literally just beat up the bar and he's having a drink. That is not marketed to children. Kids are like, yeah, I know what that's like. You know, we get in a bar fight and then throw back a whiskey. That's how I like to spend my Friday nights. You know, what? I'm 100% agreeing. I'm a biggest Deadpool fan from the comics, and I love Ryan Reynolds, his version. If the movie was PG-13, it would have turned me off big time. Yeah. When you make mature characters mature, they sell. That's right. Yeah. That was a good debate, though. I appreciate you having a different viewpoint. That's enjoyable when somebody's going to take a completely contrary viewpoint. I mean, you made me go and do, like, research in, like, the revenue of what movies made and stuff. Like, that's an enjoyable debate. Yeah, you'd have never done Punisher. You'd have never done Punisher justice with a PG-13 rating. He drags that dude's face across glass. It's like, what the... like, broken mirror glass, just like dragging the dude's face. Just, the heck is going on? You know? How much did the Joker make? The Joker movie revenue. It did well. I'm gonna 1 billion. So it's up there with the likes of like Iron Man 3. Iron Man 3 did 1.2 billion. 1 billion. And I told you guys if it was commercially... Everybody thought it was crazy. Like, it's a one and done, Lono. It's a one and done. They've already said it's a one and done. I'm like, if it makes a ton of money, it will not be a one and done. They're already in talks, apparently. Apparently, they're already in talks. You know? It's so successful. $1 billion. What on earth? As soon as you get above 500 million, you're considering sequel. As soon as you get over 500 million, unless your budget was insane. As soon as you're touching 600 million and above, you're thinking sequel. You're like, yeah, we can do another one of these. The Joker really wasn't a comic book film. Oh, I disagree. I think it's dripping with comic influence and framing and the filming and the use of color and things in the foreground and the background. Oh, no. It's an amazing comic book movie. It's a comic book movie to the same degree that Unbreakable is a comic book movie. The framing and the setups and the scenes, the symmetry. Unbreakable is brilliantly crafted as a comic book movie. I'd rather be one and done. Oh, not me. Joaquin Phoenix never doesn't do sequels. Joaquin Phoenix also never made a movie that made $1 billion. Maybe. Yeah, Gladiator did like 457 million. Yeah. Well, wait, what did Walk the Line do? Walk the Line. Movie revenue. I can't get a total here. Yeah, there's no way it got close to $1 billion. Looks like the box office was 187. Yeah. Highest grossing movie he had before was Gladiator. Yeah, it looked like that fell in like the 400 to 500 million range. Yeah. Joker was heavily inspired by Killing Joke. With that logic, composition, then everything's a comic book movie? No. There was very much panels on film? Yes. I'm not talking about, it's framing and symmetry. No. When you're framing scenes and adding symmetry and things in the foreground and background that are directly inspired by the comic books and how they do things in comic books, it's a comic book movie. Wasn't Dark Knight the first movie to gross $1 billion? Oh, I actually don't know. Maybe Johnny Cash generation aren't big on theaters. It's hard because a lot of people didn't know who it was. You know, I knew who Johnny Cash was and I wanted to see it, but a lot of people my age would be like, I've heard of Johnny Cash. Man, you know, it's not the same as the Joker. It's not the same as like Batman or Spider-Man. These are iconic characters that are known like globally, you know. The Joker movie, in my opinion, is not that good. Okay. I was about to say, I thought it was Titanic. I thought Titanic set the record, and then like Avatar set a record, and then something else set a record. Like, but I thought it was Titanic. Like Titanic was like the first. It's difficult to compare, yeah, because the revenue and inflation and yeah. Dark Knight was the first comic book movie to make $1 billion. Now that sounds right. Yeah, that sounds right. I mean, I'm telling you, the way they marketed that was brilliant. Do you remember when they were like leaking stuff about the Joker? Oh, it was so smart. It was so smart. I'm telling you right now, if the Pattinson Batman is a hit, and I think it will be, if the Pattinson movie is a hit, you keep Joker in your pocket until the third movie. He shows up at the end of the second. Okay? Shows up at the end of the second. You keep him for the third. All right? And then, this is how you do it. You do like a social media viral YouTube campaign. He creates, he starts to put the word out that he's coming back, right? He's got little cryptic videos and things like that. You can do the same thing with the Riddler, right? You can do the same thing with the Riddler. It will not be... Oh, no, I think the Pattinson Batman's going to be a hit. I think it's going to be a smash hit. And then you start doing that. You start getting people ramped up, like trying to solve puzzles, or the Riddler's putting out things for people to solve and videos, and create that sort of like... The community is like trying to figure out what it means, and da-da-da-da. And then you do the same thing with the Joker. Explores more the mental illness side of Joker, but it's 100% influenced by many comic books. Yeah. The things they've said about the early screenings of the Pattinson Batman movie are very promising. Yeah. When he beat that guy senseless and the camera didn't move, I said, they've done it. They've done it. They finally figured it out. It's like, to me, it's like what happened with Spider-Man. We've had this debate before, but to me, it's like what they did with Spider-Man. It's like, you had Tobey, okay, there were elements of Tobey and the delivery of Tobey as Spider-Man that were a little cheesy, little campy, whatever. Then you got Andrew Garfield, and now you got more of the action and the Spidey flipping and the fighting is a little bit better, but he's not the greatest Peter Parker. And then suddenly everything lines up in Tom Holland. He's everything. He's Peter, he's Spidey, he's mouthy in the right way, just right. And I think that Batman, they're finally going to get it right, and here's why. They're tapping into what got really overshadowed in the Dark Knight movies with Christian Bale. They were trying to do like the detective technical thing, and then the fighting just got kind of like, there was nothing really rough about it. It was like, okay, he still looks kind of rubbery, and when I saw Pattinson walk up and just beat that guy senseless, and then he says he's vengeance, I'm like, that's freaking Batman. Like, I don't know. To me, it looks like he's wearing armor. It looks like he would actually come close to killing a man. For the first time ever, I felt that in that scene. I was like, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. They might actually do it. And people don't realize that Robert Pattinson's like an award-winning actor. They're like Twilight, bam. Like, you understand he's been in like a ton of movies and he gets insane praise in like every movie that he's in. But you think of Twilight. The poor guy. He's like, no one thinks of the fact that like he acts opposite of Willem Dafoe and holds his own. And people are like, yeah, but Twilight. Okay. You go act opposite of Willem Dafoe. Go ahead. Go for it. Yeah, he was great in Tenet. Yeah. Disagree. I fall in the Garfield was the best Spidey camp. Oh, no. He was so bad as Peter. He was charming with Emma. Emma's a cheat code, though. She is just adorable, right? She's just cute as a postcard. But their chemistry didn't make him a good Peter Parker. You know what I mean? Joker is such a great departure from every other comic book film. It should be held in a different category. Inspired by comic book character, but the departure begins there. No, I consider The Joker and I consider Unbreakable comic book movies. I think of the highest caliber because they're done in a completely creative way. They're done so creatively, you know. Yeah, Haley Atwell playing Laura Croft. Well, voicing Laura Croft. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to her running around as Laura Croft, but she's just going to voice her. Yeah. You haven't watched The Joker? I'm not a fan of Holland. He doesn't come off as intelligent. That's not his fault. That's in how they told the story. That is one thing they downplayed a little bit too much, Eugene. You get like a montage of how he makes his webbing. That's unfair. That's not fair to the character. They should have done more with that. You do a couple of things with that. Do a couple of scenes where he impresses Tony Stark with his knowledge, with his brain, with his technical know-how or something. They montaged that, and I don't think they should have. I do. I think they downplayed his intelligence a little bit too much. He's supposed to be like a genius. And there's like a 5-second montage of how he makes the webbing, and you're like, oh, he like frantically made it at school in a drawer. What? And now his suit is Stark's. That's true, though. That happens in the comics. Doesn't he get like a really advanced suit? And does he make it? Does he make the crazy awesome suit? I thought that was actually accurate. We have to begin with what defines a comic book movie. If it's based on a comic, then in default, is it a comic movie? It feels vastly different from all of the others. Like, I feel like Unbreakable is a comic book movie because it's a movie about people with powers. And he intentionally makes it mimic comic book themes, comic book framing, comic book everything. Like the tone, the use of color. It's a living, like Unbreakable is like a living comic book. It's so well done if you pick up on all the things that M. Night did. And I think there's very, very similar things in Joker. They didn't just say, let's just make a dramatic movie about Joker. They're like, no. We're going to set up a lot of the framing and the themes and the use of color, foreground, background, everything. We're going to set it up like a comic book. I kind of feel like that gives them the right to say we're a comic book movie. In Civil War, Iron Man gifted the suit to Spider-Man. Oh, in the comic version, that is something that happens. Okay. Yeah, they are doing the adopted son thing, but Eugene, I think they wanted to do that so that Iron Man's exit would have a torch pass. They needed a torch pass from Captain, right? Captain America does a torch pass to Falcon, and then they needed Iron Man to do a torch pass to Spidey. Why? Well, financial reasons, but also because that's just that makes good storytelling. Both Tony and Steve walk off into the sunset in the last movie, and they do so in a way that makes you think, well, you're kind of next in line. You got to stand up. And they do that in Far From Home. Happy lays it at his feet, and Falcon and the Winter Soldier, they lay all that at his feet. It's you now, baby. You're it. You got to get over this hang-up. Glass is painfully low budget. It takes away from the film. The most frustrating thing about Glass is that McAvoy's performance is mind-blowing. His performance is mind-blowing. He's amazing in Split, but what he does in Glass is on another level. When they're like flashing him with the thing and he's hopping from personalities, get the frick out of here. McAvoy is on another level in that movie, and it just was kind of okay. It wasn't... They jumped the shark, It felt like they jumped the shark. Which is unfortunate. You thought he was better in Split? Well, he gets more screen time in Split, so it's more of a slow burn. It's a slow build-up. Like when he says there's paprika in it, he's like, there's paprika in it. And he's like brushing her hair. I'm like, oh my gosh. Freaking chills. When he takes the glasses off in the one scene and like, or he puts them on, he does something. He either takes them off or puts them off, and he changes persons like right in front of you. Absolutely brilliant. But he does it in glass so fast in that one sequence. I'm like, this is on another level, man. This is unbelievable. So talented. I need him in a TV show. You look fabulous. We both know that that's the wrong answer to that question. She did not say to take it off and wear it. There's not a universe where Mama was like, hey, that fitted sheet in your room, I want you to take it off your bed and wear it. You're dragging on the dirty floor. Yeah, all right. Get out of here. It felt unnecessary? Yeah, Kane, that's the word. It felt unnecessary. I don't know how I did it. I got to the end of Split, and I didn't know they were connected. I got to the end of Split, and I was in that credit thing. They panned down the diner, and Bruce Willis, like, they called him Mr. Glass, and I was like, what? I was like on a plane, and I couldn't believe it. I was so angry that I wasn't watching it with someone to like share in the moment, because I had no idea that was coming. Oh my, because I loved Unbreakable. Like, I always told people, like, Unbreakable was like criminally underrated. It was so good. It was so well done. Great cast, perfectly crafted story, just amazing acting. When they're in the kitchen and the kid has a gun, oh, the weight and the emotional spectrum in that scene. Bruce Willis is brilliant. You're going to be in big trouble. Oh, and then they're like shaking and like almost crying. Oh my word. Unbreakable is so good. And I got to the end of Split and I was like, what a movie. Oh. The voice McAvoy's doing at the end, the broken. He's like yelling. I was like, oh my gosh. And then they pan down that diner, and Bruce Willis is like, they called him Mr. Glass. I was like, I'm sorry, what? They're in the same universe? My mind was blown, dude. My mind was absolutely blown. It was so good. Oh, frick! Spot? What do you mean by spot? What are you talking about? Most people haven't even heard of Unbreakable? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, or people saw Split and they were like, I don't understand what that was about. Have you seen Glass? Yeah, it was okay. Yeah. Unbreakable is like 25 years old? March 4th is Batman's release unless it's delayed. I really hope it's not delayed. I hope by then, like, going to the theater is easier, you know? It's 21 years old. It makes sense because Robin Wright and Bruce Willis both look very young in it. She is absolutely beautiful, and she is so good in that movie. She is so good. I think she was literally one of the best things about House of Cards. That situation just absolutely sucked because that show was just on fire. M. Night was such a great director. Fluke, maybe? You think Unbreakable was a fluke? So Sixth Sense wasn't any good. Signs wasn't any good. Come on, man. He's had some very good movies. He's directed the likes of Mel Gibson, Bruce Willis, Joaquin Phoenix. This guy can direct. He's just got some stinkers in his corner, man. The Village. I think Lady in the Water doesn't get enough credit. Lady in the Water is a great movie. The Village is so good. When that violin is playing, like, and like it's slow-mo, and Bryce Dallas Howard's just holding her hand out. Come on. There is so much. The air is tight. It's like, oh, what is, you can't breathe. And then you find out it's all fake. It is a farce. Oh, man. Adrian Brody is in that movie. Come on. William Hurt is in that movie. Get out of here. He is a great director. He just has some stinkers in his repertoire. Everybody does. Come on, man. You think every actor's movies like lineup is top notch? Oh, Christopher Wright just had my baby girl at 9:23 this morning. Yo, congrats, my man. You're always here, always positive, always tipping the stream. Congrats, man. Enjoy it. Enjoy it. Oh, there is nothing like a baby girl, dude. My first was a girl. Oh, my. Oh, man. I was being sarcastic more than anything, but I was hoping for better with more experience overall. Oh, you didn't like Signs? I really like Signs. You know what M. Night's done, right? You understand what he's done. He's attempted to make every movie type. Signs is terrible, though? No, it's fine. It's fine. It's a good movie. He's attempted to make like every movie type. That's what The Happening was supposed to be. The Happening was supposed to be a bad B movie. It's supposed to be bad. There's boom mics in the shot and stuff. He does it on purpose. He's tried to make like every movie type. So Sixth Sense is supposed to be like suspense thriller, you know, and like Unbreakable's a comic book movie, and like I forget what The Village is supposed to be, and then like The Happening is supposed to be like a B movie, and then Lady in the Water is like a children's story, and then The Airbender, like he stretched himself outside of where he should have gone, is what he did. He's good in certain lanes, and in other lanes he's not very good. It's like a guy that's really good on a skateboard, and he's really good on a bike, but the minute you throw him in a motorcycle or a NASCAR, can't do it. Like, he gets out of his element, it just doesn't work that well. Yeah. The Happening is bad on purpose. I remember watching it and being like, I don't understand. Mark Wahlberg is a perfectly fine actor. Why is he acting like this? It didn't make any sense to me. Maybe that's the problem. Most people can't do everything, and that was his fault. M. Night's my dude. I'm one of the few people who I really, really enjoy Lady in the Water. Paul Giamatti is so good. Oh my gosh, he's so good in that. When he breaks down, it's excellent. It's very, very well done. But I know it's weird, and so people didn't like it. So many of M. Night's films rely on the twist ending. Yeah, if you become known for the twist, then everyone's anticipating it. That's not something you don't want to get stuck in that role. I don't know if I've seen John Carpenter's The Thing. What a twist. If there's a twist at the end of a movie and you tell your friend there's a twist at the end of a movie, you ruin the movie for them. Thing is one of the best. I really like scary movies. I don't like movies that are really, really violent. I liked one of the best sort of surprise scary movies. It seemed like it wouldn't have been was, what was it, Cabin in the Woods? Isn't Hemsworth in that? It was actually really enjoyable. Yeah, Lucky Number 11. Yeah, that's a good ending. Yeah, Lucky Number 11 is good. Cabin in the Woods was a satire to the way the horror movie industry goes. Oh, it works. Yeah. Cabin in the Woods was great. It was quite self-aware to the point that it worked well. Yeah. I never watched The Mist. I meant to watch that one. My wife doesn't like scary movies, so I have to navigate when I can sit down and watch one, and it's just so difficult. Because a lot of them I would watch on planes or when I was traveling. Like, I'd be on a really long flight to California, and I'd cycle through all the movies on the plane, and I'd try to find the scary ones, like, what's the one that they had to be quiet, A Quiet Place. I want to see that sequel. Yeah, 12 Monkeys is the reason. Isn't that like, that was like Brad Pitt's breakout. People couldn't believe how good he was in that. The most terrifying movie you ever watched was The Entity. I liked both of the series they did on Netflix, the two Haunting series. I'm waiting for they're going to do a third one, I think. I enjoyed those. I really, really did. I like the casting, the writing. How's the poll? It's split, man. Spider-Man 2 should have co-op. It's split right down the middle. I didn't get very far in Hereditary, and I regret stopping it. I remember people telling me that it was good. Thank you, Mike. You thought there was inconsistencies in A Quiet Place, Legend? What was inconsistent? Yeah, I haven't got to see the sequel to Quiet Place yet. I want to. Don't watch Midsummer unless you want to feel physically disturbed for a week. Yeah, I've heard that one's kind of wild. There was the one with Natalie Portman and the guy that's in Dune, and he played Poe. He was in it too. That one was jacked up. That one was. They cut that guy open, and like he had all those worms inside of him, like the big worms moving around. I was like, what the frick is going on? They were losing their dadgum minds. I did not like it. It was a good movie, but it was messing with me. It was 100% messing with me. It was creepy. It was like proper creepy. There was something about the realness of it. It was like these guys would do this. Like they would be losing their dadgum minds and like thinking that what they're doing is helping. Like, oof. Oh my gosh. I really didn't like it. I mean, I liked the movie, but I didn't like, wait, did I just copy? No, I didn't. Okay. Made that mistake before. Copy and paste the wrong stuff when I go to schedule the new stream. Subscribers, any duration, public. We'll set it for there we go. They're giving Penguin a spin-off series already from the Batman. They must be very, very pleased with how that movie is doing and getting talked about. If they're already looking at doing a spin-off series on HBO. Today we were playing Deathloop. Hashtag Call of Duty. I'm doing so much of like copy and pasting. Like, oh, I did the wrong thing. Well, at least the Deathloop tag is not getting hidden like Death Stranding was. Remember that? Event Horizon's the horror film that turned me off to horror films. It was so unsettling. What was the one with Vince D'Onofrio and J-Lo? What a combo, right? The Cell? Was that what it was? Hawkeye trailer looks spicy. Oh, I forgot to watch it. Hawkeye trailer to me felt like it was forced, especially with the comedy. I hope it's good because I like Haley. I like Haley Steinfeld. I think that's her name, right? I think she's great. I really liked her in I really liked her in Bumblebee, right? Akuta Papa says, favorite and least favorite out of these types: killers, monsters, paranormal, psychological horror. Now, if you put serial killer in front of killers, I'm always watching something if it's about a serial killer. I have a novel series I want to write about a serial killer. I know how I would write it. I know how each chapter would go. I think it would be fresh. It'd be good. I think it would even acknowledge the existence of Dexter. Like, I think that would be a point of frustration for the guy about that show. Right? I have a lot of book ideas and framework and character arcs and everything that I wish I had time for, because friends of ours just went through the process of like getting a book on Amazon and ebook and publishing all of that and like what Amazon takes. It was like, I was like, huh, like it got some gears turning. I loved Mindhunters. Mindhunters was oh my gosh, Mindhunters was so good. Was just absolutely phenomenal. They're not remaking Dexter. They're doing a tail end thing to make sense of. They're doing like a tack on. They're not remaking it. It's not a, yeah, you guys are calling it a remake or a revive. It's just going to be like a tack on season to like show what he's doing out in the woods. You know, Lumberjack Dexter. The guy who played Charles Manson is, I don't understand how he did that. I don't understand how he did that. I really, really don't. The guy that played, what's his face? The main guy. The main guy they always talk to, the big guy. He was just phenomenal. He was very good. I really liked him. He has such a plain name. Yeah, they were all in the movie. All the serial killers. Mad Max, all of them. Ed Kemper. Yeah, Ed Kemper. Oh, gosh. Oh. When he refers to it as a vocation, it's so this is why I love really well done shows and things about serial killers, right? They are equally like chilling and interesting. You can't stop watching. There's something about it that is so chilling, and yet it's just so interesting. It's like you're so intrigued because it's not about like the violence in it. It's about what takes somebody there, like what makes them tick. Why did they do like the first? That was one of the reasons I love the first season of True Detective. Because a really, really good show about it, they show just how far the darkness extends, because like it affects the guys investigating it, it affects the guys studying it. It's so dark. It reaches beyond just the violence to the people. I love it. I love every single time I watch one of those shows. If they pull it off, oh my gosh. Season 1 of True Detective is a work of art. Season 3, an absolute work of art. So brilliantly crafted and acted. The darkness and how I absolutely love it. I love it. I get so excited when there's like a show like that. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna soak this in. You know? My wife hates those kind of shows, so I gotta find time to watch them on my own, you know? Yeah, after serial killers, I would go with psychological horror. I'm not... The paranormal stuff, monsters, You know? Although, this will blow your mind, but you need to watch it. If you're into scary movies, if you like Blair Witch mockumentaries, documentary style stuff, you need to watch Troll Hunter. I am not joking. I am not kidding around. If you have not watched Troll Hunter, you need to watch it. It is so surprisingly good. I'm not kidding around. I'm being serious. Yeah, we'll be playing Deathloop here in a little bit. Sven says, would you rather watch movies that stick with you for days or weeks after watching it, or watch big budget blockbusters that are fun but less fulfilling, but totally enjoyable on their own? It depends on my mood. Troll Hunter's so good. Troll Hunter's amazing, so good. I'm so glad that you guys have seen it and agree. I'm so glad there are people in chat agreeing with me. I couldn't believe it.
I couldn't believe it. From the minute I turned it on, I was like, oh, I'm in. I'm in. I watch it every time it shows up in my feed. Same with Europa Report. I loved it. From the very beginning, the guy's voice when they're interviewing him, he just has this low rumble voice. You got to read this. Sometimes you're like, oh my gosh, what? Troll Hunter's like Cloverfield, but actually scary. Cloverfield was okay. I thought it was alright. What's Troll Hunter? You just have to watch it. You have to like those kind of movies, though, like the Blair Witch or like the Cloverfield. So like they're selling you an idea. Like this is an actual documentary or footage that was found, right? There was the Chernobyl one that was okay. You know, Troll Hunter's in that vein of like it's acting as if like this footage was discovered, and these kids went out and found a guy who was a troll hunter. He found and took care of trolls. Troll Hunter's been on my list for years, just haven't watched it yet. Oh, it's great. It's great. I need to go back and rewatch it because I watched it ages ago and I really, really enjoyed it. I might not like it then, Blair Witch and Paranormal. No, not Paranormal. It's the filming style, Mo. The filming style is what I'm referring to. Cloverfield and Blair Witch, they play like, we'll call it found footage. We found this footage. This is insane, right? And you know it's not real, but it's not paranormal though, right? No, not Troll Hunter's Tales of Arcadia by DreamWorks. No. Troll Hunter, plural. I don't like the paranormal stuff for a handful of reasons. It just feels like they cheat to get it to make it. I don't know. I feel like they cheat to make it scary. You know what I mean? I feel like they cheat to make it scary. Like stuff's like flying around. But like Haunting of Hill House doesn't feel paranormal to me, but it is. Like the people that are walking around and the ghosts in the background and stuff like I guess that would be paranormal. And I did like it. Do you believe in ghosts and demons? Oh, come on. You can't ask a question like that. Not at the end of the stream. But when it's well done. Yeah. If it's well done. Paranormal can get kind of cheesy, kind of cheap, you know? Kind of boo, you know? Sometimes paranormal stuff can get like overly gruesome too and like just gross. It's like, Did you see the Creep movies? Just a banger of a question at the end. Is it wrong if I do? I mean, I'll ask you a question. I'll ask you a question. Thank you for the $10, Reaper. Do you think all reality is observable and measurable and testable? Do you think it is? Is everything? I'm just curious. I'll try to ask tomorrow. No, Sven asked if I've read the Screw Tape letters. I have. Yeah. C.S. Lewis didn't like writing it. He never did another one for a reason. If I come across Ghost Adventures on my feed, I watch it without hesitation. I don't think I've ever heard of that one. Eugene says not currently. Ah, there it is. Not exactly, but that would be basically like very close to like logical positivism, right? Everything can be empirically proven and studied. Theoretically, all reality is observable. Yeah. Theoretically, and people put hope in that. Yeah. Woody Harrelson was a lucky man in season 1. I know what you're referring to. And I do not disagree with you. Yeah. I wonder how many times he has to film that scene. I think we need to do a couple more takes. Just a few. It's a TV show where they investigate the paranormal. Oh, okay. Everything we can see is just a trick of the light. Yeah. I forget her name. She is quite fetching, but I forget her name. You know what I mean? Didn't they put her in something recently, and she got a lot of attention for it. Wasn't it Baywatch, I think? They did that Baywatch movie with Dwayne The Rock Johnson. I think she was in that, wasn't she? Did you say Gillian Anderson is in Hannibal? Yeah, and so is Mads Mikkelsen. I don't know how much more reason you need to watch it. It's got Gillian Anderson and Mads Mikkelsen in it. You don't need any other people in the show. I mean, there are more though. By the way, there are more. Lawrence Fishburne's in it. It's a solid show, solid cast. It is. It's very, very good. I didn't like when they got away from "this is my design." I thought that was frustrating. There's a thing that they do in season 1 and 2 when the main character analyzes a scene, a murder scene, you know, and he goes, "This is my design." And he goes, and like he sort of envisions it all. When they departed from that, I got irritated. I thought that was one of the best things in the show. I think they got away from the show's DNA and identity when they did that. I don't think it ever recovered. Personally, I think it peaked and then dropped and did fine. It coasted to the end. It got better near the end, but I don't think they ever recovered from removing that from the show. I did not like when they did that. Alexandra Daddario? What a name! Alexandra Daddario. That's her name? Oh, yeah, that's her. That's her, all right. Yep. She's a natural brunette. Wasn't she a blonde in True Detective? Wait, does she shows up? Oh, I'm sorry. She shows up in True Detective. They have the screenshot for season 3. I was like, she wasn't in season 3. Yeah. She has 20 million followers on Instagram. I wonder why that is. 20 million. Yeah. I love the idea of Baywatch. I love that they sold a modern woman on it. That is phenomenal to me. So here's what you're going to do. Are you familiar with the show? I'm just seeing the sit down. You know, I'm seeing the sit down. The guy's got he's got a piece of paper and he's like, so we're just gonna do a run through of what you're gonna do in the movie Baywatch. Have you seen the show? It's gonna be a lot of running. Are you in shape? I mean, we can see you're in shape, but are you in shape to run? It's going to be a lot of that. Now, we will be filming at a certain frame rate because slow motion is absolutely paramount to this movie's success. Oh, yeah, oh my gosh, yeah, he's a hunk. Holy moly. Yeah. He's pretty dreamy. I couldn't watch Baywatch growing up. Zac Efron isn't real. Yeah, he is quite dreamy. How are your slow motion skills? How are you with slow motion? Like I said, it was surprising to me. It felt like we were leaving behind that era of content, you know? Like, Baywatch feels like a lifetime ago. It feels like you'd never make that now. What about Collateral? Collateral's excellent. The most recent episode of Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee that I watched was with Jamie Foxx. And Jamie Foxx is he is so brilliant, and I don't think people know it. If you do know it, then congratulations. He is absolutely brilliant. His repertoire of work is unbelievable. It truly is. He is. I think people think of Jamie Foxx and they just think of, oh yeah, haha, Jamie Foxx. No. This guy is a genius. He is absolutely brilliant. And he is a surprisingly good impersonator. He was doing Chappelle. He was doing Robert Downey Jr. Oh my gosh. So smart. Such a smart guy. He's one of those guys that's so smart that it makes you want to hang out with him. It's not intimidating. Like, yeah, him and Ray. Like, it's not intimidating. Like, some people are so brilliant, you'd be a little intimidated to hang out with them. You'd be like, oh, wow. But him? No, dude. Let's go get a cheeseburger, man. Like, he's just one of those guys. He just seems approachable and fun and just kind and dripping with talent. My favorite part was his honesty in the interview. He was talking about when he started making money and he became wealthy, and he started joking about money, right? He started joking about money, and it hurt his act. And then he was at a venue, and the doors opened, and it was like, ah! Everyone was laughing, and he could feel the energy. And he said there was this skinny black dude on stage in a tank top by the name of Chris Tucker, and he was hungry. And he said he walked past me later like I wasn't anything. And he said it messed him up for days. Like, his act suffered. He was bombing because it got in his head. I'm losing it, and this guy's going for it. And then he was at some thing, and some woman came up and was like, hey. And he thought she recognized him, and she asked where Chris Tucker was. And she told him that he looked familiar, and he was like, ooh. And to me, the encouraging thing about it was that was an age ago, you know. Now Jamie Foxx has been in Ray. He's been in Django Unchained. Like, he's got a history in stand-up. He's got all these things he's been able to do, you know. Oh, yeah, he's great in Collateral. Getting to act with Tom Cruise. I like the Collateral. You know what Collateral feels like to me? Collateral feels like almost influenced by an old Hitchcock movie. The idea of taking two big dogs and putting them in a small space and just constantly having them share space and dialogue and tension in a confined space. Ah, there's some brilliance there. I like it. I really, really do. Collateral is an excellent movie. You are screwing with my work. Speaking of work, we've got work to do. We need to go play some Deathloop, and this is the opening screen. We can break the loop or protect the loop, so you kind of pick between the two. Let me make sure we have redirect set up. I'm going to set it up right now, and we are going to switch to this. I'm going to make sure it's featured on the homepage of the channel. On the homepage of the channel. Okay. There we go. And I'm going to give you guys a link. Okay. Break it. Yeah, you can only break it at the start. I can't pick anything else. So there's the link in chat. Let me end the poll. Give me 1 second. Hang on. Give me 1 second. If you guys are enjoying the show, hit the subscribe button, the bell button, smash that like button, and stick around because we're talking Spider-Man 2 co-op info and the Wolverine game rating. Oh. Okay. Okay. Sorry about that. All right, so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to end this stream. It should take you to the next one. If it doesn't, then click the link in chat, and I'll see you guys over there.